It's Clobberin time! Clobberin time! Clobberonimo! It's Clobberin time! Clobberonimo!
Yeah. Clobberonimo, indeed. Greetings, clobberers and clobberonimos and clobberettes and clobberoids and clobberusies and clobberians and every kind of clobbery thing there is out there. Thank you so much. And of course, the secret to all you other guys is to bang the rocks together, guys. Welcome to Clobberin Times Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk. This is, of course, CT number 609 on YouTube, number 1,309 overall. My goodness. And, of course, it is Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk, as mentioned. Thank you all for those M's in there in the chat. Good to see you all, my dear friends. I want to thank everyone who joined us earlier. My great buddy, J-Man. I want to thank the great J-Man, of course, for joining me on Earth B. What a fun time that was, as always. This is great, and everyone who popped in and participated and hung out with us, we do appreciate it. A lot of fun. On the, as always, it was a Wacky World of Bob Haney presentation. We'll do another one next month. Same Bob day, same Bob channel. Yeah. Or the B Monday of every month. So, what's going on here? Let's do some show notes, then some shout outs. Hey, of course. The remainder of the week, I'm in my usual guest spots. Let's see. Sorry about that. I'll be in my usual guest spots. Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Great Midnight's Edge After Dark channel with Tom and that August group right there. A bunch of great fellers. Wednesday nights, when applicable, the Loki's Comic Book Roundtable on Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Central. A lot of fun there. And, of course, Friday nights at Nick's great channel at his his comic shop, Friday night comic shop show at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. The great Nick Weiser, a good buddy, 32 Flavors there. But for me, it's for my own little bitty shows, the Clobberin Time shows. We've got, of course, tonight. And then there's Wild Card Wednesday night, as always. Well, I have some interesting things to talk about this week, I do believe. Me hanging out with you, pretty much. And then, of course, that Clobby's Clubhouse time. It'll be, of course, my wonderful first officer, the amazing R.M. Briggs, and our great chief engineer, Mark D. with a C, hanging out with us. And we always have a lot of fun. We review a Tales of Tomorrow, a UFO episode from Jerry Anderson's UFO, a Star Trek comic, and much more. So a lot of fun hanging out there on Thursday nights. And then the Saturday night Star Trek beginning this week. Beginning this week, it is time to start another leg of our ongoing journey or mission to review all of Real Trek 66 through 2005. And so we will begin with the pilot episode, and only that one episode, that night, of course, of Star Trek Voyager. Number one and I will shoot off the season with a bang. But just talking about that one episode, who knows? Maybe we'll end early so we can get a big, because we got a lot of Voyager ahead of us after next week. We're going to be doing 4 episodes of the clip. So, but for our opener week, we're going to give our full attention to the pilot episodes and then have a little fun and maybe get out early. Who knows? I thought we were going to get out early this last week. We did one of the longest shows we've ever done, or right up there anyway. So, shout outs to everyone, whether they're here or not. The great wrenches, of course. Eric K., the Bronze Wrencher. What's up, buddy? You out there? Always good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. I'm feeling better. And the pupper as well. Chris Persia, the Vindicator Wrench of the Great White North. Oh, thank you for all you do, brother. Appreciate you, man. D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron. And by the way, D. Bud, I just saw your email thing. Please feel free. Anything for Pablo, buddy. And that's that's very good, man. So, yes. I didn't get a chance to respond to it. I was doing other things, and I just remembered it when I saw me about to call your name out. So, you know my memory. And I hope Pablo's mom is going to be okay. Lord Thoth, God of the Wrenches. And, of course, shout out to his wonderful better half, the goddess of wrenching, even though she's not a wrench, but she's a goddess, Lady Thoth. Avon lives, and long live the Legion, sir. My partner in crime on Earth B, fellow Legionnaire, reviewer extraordinaire, and Wrench Without Fear, the great J-Man. Dude, had a blast hanging out with you earlier. It was so much fun. Cannot wait to do it again. Should be hanging out on this channel. I think Friday night, maybe before Nick's channel. I think I might be hanging out with J-Man and Sean talking some Adam West Batman. And so I'm looking forward to that. Angry Boy, master of the Clobberin, and comic book artist extraordinary. Hail to the big HB. Super Wrench Stephen Kal-El. What's up, buddy? Always a pleasure. Maddie's daddy, Vilja de Vinch Mionia, Torin Vegas. That old rascal himself, Fanty Outsider EE. Clobberin Time's own music meister himself, Maximum Redstone. So let us see who is in the chat. Now that we've shouted out our wrenches, who's here with us tonight? Brian Hepburn, hello there. Good to see you, buddy. Joseph Dredd, what's up? Here comes the judge. Guagnar, hello again, buddy. You mean they're not letting you watch live streams there, Guag? What's the deal, man? Ravenscroft, hello, welcome, good to see you. See if we got anybody else who haven't called out yet. Think mate. Penny, hello, Penny. Good to see you, Penny. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Yes, our brother Pablo, Geek Topology and Midnight's Edge Espanol, has a GoFundMe for his mother's surgery. Please help if you can. And there's, of course, there's the link that their great buddy D-Bud has put in there in the chat. So, and I think at the moment, that's really all we have to shout out for it, but we'll shout out people as in due course as they come in, like the great Captain James T. Skywalker. What's up, duderishness? Hey, hey, hey. So, two of the most important comics arguably ever released were released. Well, we'll pull up that info here for a second here. Let's see here. 63. Should have had this ready. I'm so derelict. On sale in August. No, not August. There we go. July. All right, let me just check something here. Like I said, I should have had this read before, but no. There's one. There we go. All right. Hang on 1 second. Okay. All righty then. Just had to double check something there really quickly. Okay, so I wouldn't let you watch the Earth B stream, live stream. Just kept telling me waiting for Clobberin times. Really? Was everyone else able to watch it that was here? Could someone tell me if they had the same problem? Now I need to go back. I'm worried about that. I need to go check. I got to go check, see what's going on with that channel, with that stream. It shows that it aired and people watched it. So, D-Bud said he watched the streaming on his TV, but it froze at one point. Oh, no. Anybody else have any problems with it? It shows that it aired, that it streamed. Anybody else could give me any info on that? I appreciate it. I mean, it showed that it did air. I mean, it did, well, you know. Blame Zany Haney on the glitch. Well, that's a fair call. I guess I can't say I blame you. Wow. Well, dang it. AHB. Sorry about that, Glad. I don't understand. Let me check our poll real quickly here. Bush band down, hey. All right, our poll so far, 15 votes. Question, of course, which of these classic super teams do you like best out of the Avengers or the X-Men? The Avengers with a big lead at 67%, and the X-Men have 33%. We'll keep an eye on it all night, of course. We will keep an eye on that one. So, these two comics, as has been mentioned, well, today's the, what is today? Today's the 10th. So last week, would have been the anniversary week. But I'm probably going to just save that anyway to do something more, you know, special, like in, it's Kirby month next month. Nevertheless, I thought we would just look at some of the things that were going on in comics at the time when these came out. I'm probably going to do a lot more thorough deep dives into Avengers 1 and X-Men 1 during Kirby month, since, they're Kirby creations. But if you look at it, I mean, one thing that's fascinating about this to me, this is, again, July of 1963, basically 60 years ago. Look at what comics were like 60 years ago. Look, there was an actual industry. And so, obviously, we will talk about Avengers 1 and X-Men 1, but one of the things that's fascinating to me is what was going around, what was going on in the industry in comic books 60 years ago. RJ Godzilla, hello there. So this is when this is an actual, look, granted, there was nothing for it to compete with. I mean, but it's as someone who loves this art form, it's just amazing to see this. You got Little Archie, Adventures of the Fly. That's an Archie comic. A character created by Kirby, Simon and Kirby. Betty and Veronica. No, Archie's girls, Betty and Veronica. Archie's Joke Book, Archie's Madhouse, Archie's Pal Jughead. That's 6 straight Archie's titles. Battlefield Action, number 49, Charlton Comics. Brain Boy by Dell. Brain Boy, folks. Who remembers Brain Boy? No one, of course. Even I wasn't alive yet. Even I was not alive. Now, I think D-Bud might have been barely alive, but I wasn't alive yet. Khalil says, there's still a comics industry now, except it's filled with mostly scum and villainy yet. And the people who do it well are the ones that have to do it on their own. Good to see you there, RJ. Oh yeah, a lot of romance comics. A lot of, again, there was a pretty vast market out there. Yep, you were there, D-Bud. This had me by just a little over a year. So Ravenscroft, you never know. I'm not sure what your age is, but this is July of 63 we're looking at here, so it's got me by about 13 months. All right, so I like to just look at all these books that came out that month. Then there's Drag Strip Hot Rodders. Charlton. Fighting Air Force, Charlton. Fighting Army, Charlton. All these comics came out. They were released. Remember, the releases were different back then. On July the 1st, Hot Rods and Racing Cars, Charlton. Idaho 2, Dell. Kid Montana, Charlton. Conga, Charlton. Laugh, Archie. Little Genius by Charlton. Charlton was, dude, they were huge back then. People don't realize Charlton was a big competitor. Amazing. You got to love it that there was a time when the comic business was so huge. Little Genius number. Let's say, wait a minute. Little Genius number 17. Little Genius number 46. What's the deal? What in the hell? One was Eddie Print book, I guess. Anyway, and here we go. Love Diary number 29 by Charlton. You all know you love those Love Diary comics. My Little Margie, Charlton. Tell you what, Charlton and Archie dominated the stands, man. My Little Marchie again. That's weird. The number jumps. My Little Margie 17, then My Little Margie 49. Weird. Nurse Betsy Crane. What makes this even more amazing is not only did Kirby do Avengers 1 and X-Men 1, but he did FF19, Pencil Mateo Suspense 47, Journey to Mystery 96, and Stairs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, that's a very, very important point. Thank you, Fanty. That's exactly right. This is just this one. Look at all the Kirby comics in this one damn month. It's unreal. Again, Fanty laid it out, and it could not be laid out better. He only did, not only does he did the complete work, and he had inkers, don't mind, but still, the full pencils on Avengers, X-Men, one both of them. FF19, what was that Hate Monger or Rama Tut? I can't remember which one. One of those. I think it was Rama Tut, wasn't it? Fanty, and maybe anyway. Pencil Tales of Suspense 47. Yep. Journey into Mystery 96, Tales of Astonish 48, and FF Annual. Look at this. It's unreal. Andy Masterson, what's up, buddy? Welcome, sir. Hey, Simply Steve, what's up, buddy? Welcome back. When I was young, I liked X-Men better. As I got older, I liked classic Avengers more. That's fair enough. I think most people were that way. I actually kind of have a soft spot in my heart for the original X-Men group, and then I read the newer ones later when they were okay, the Cochrane and ones and the Byrne ones. But I was never, again, full disclosure, I was never an X-Men guy, in the sense that it was my favorite. There were excellent runs on it. Thanks, Fanty, for Ramatot, I thought so. I never preferred them. I like them fine. You know where I'm coming from with that. I like them fine, but out of the two, I love the Avengers more. There you go. Oh, and a Sergeant Fury issue. How do we leave that out? Kirby's output that month alone is astonishing, but he's Kirby. He was always astonishing and suspenseful, fantastic, and mysterious, and all those things. So let's see. Where were we? My Little Margie, Nurse Betsy Crane, Pep, Archie Comics. Archie's rival, Reggie. We're not even to one Marvel or DC book yet, folks. Not one. Romantic Secrets by Charlton. Romantic Story by Charlton. Archie Comics, Seymour, my son. Six Gun Heroes by Charlton. Space Adventures by Charlton. Space Man by Dell. Space War by Charlton. Submarine Attack by Charlton. Sue and Sally Smith, Flying Nurses. Number 53, I might add. There are 53 or more issues of that comic. Just let Charlton. Sweetheart 73, Charlton. Texas Rangers, Charlton. Texas Rangers in Action, Charlton. Three Nurses, Charlton. Some people say Carlton, but anyway. Timmy the Timid, Charlton. Timmy the Timid, Charlton. Another issue. U.S. Air Force Comics, Charlton. Universal Pictures, Dracula the Mummy, Other Stories, Dell. Unusual Tales, Charlton. Wilbur, Archie. Young Doctor, Charlton. And finally, the first of the so-called Big Two, which they weren't so big two back then, by the way. The Avengers #1. Marvel. Previously Atlas. Written by some guy who doesn't know what he's talking about, but really created, written, and drawn by, of course, the great Jack Kirby. Dick Ayers on the inks. But let's not leave Sam Rosen out for his lettering. With the Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers classic cover. I mean, wow. Unreal. If you add it up, this might be one of Kirby's most prolific months. So we'll pause there for a minute and we'll take a look at Avengers #1. Whoops. Not like a review or anything. We'll just kind of flip it a little bit. Wah, 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 wah. All right. Dokily, dokily. Alrighty then. Yeah. Ray Lucard, hey there. Welcome. And yes, absolutely. You can always recognize some Kirby, can't you? All right. So, the Avengers, #1. Obviously, cover dated September, but as we all know, there was always 2 months before. The books were released 2 months before. Earth's mightiest superheroes. Can the combined power of the Avengers, defeat the sinister spells of Loki, god of evil? The Avengers, I'll destroy you all. Loki, prepare for battle. And the Marvel superheroes, supervillains, super thrills, presented in the fabulous Marvel manner. The coming of the Avengers. Yep, so needless to say, you've all read this a million times, or many of you have. It's one of the easily one of the most reprinted comics ever. Pat S., what's up, bro? Yeah, pretty much there, simply. That's right. Pat says, what? I call the old spinner rack K&B drugstore, get some comics and a half gallon of cherry vanilla. Works for me, buddy. Dave C., what's up, brother? Good to see you. So we'll just kind of flip through it casually. You know, we all know the story. Loki decides to, he's sick of Thor's crap, but he knows he can't beat him, so he's got to cheat. He'll get these heroes together. Basically, he'll manipulate a bunch of heroes and beings such as the Hulk. It's funny how he started with the Hulk. Remember the days of Don Blake slamming striking the cane? That's Wolfman. Hey there. Okay. Am I the only one that kind of misses the Don Blake thing? I know people don't like it. Where he strikes the cane, it comes the whole. They were trying to make it similar to like Captain Marvel, Billy Batson type deal, which is what they were trying to do. But in some ways, maybe. I like the gold suit for kinder days, but I love the red and gold horn helmet. Yeah, the gold suit was fun though. This one, the Doc Blake Thor. So there's Don Blake. There's now again, all these characters had appeared a few times in Marvel Comics over the past year, including Ant-Man and Wasp. And Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec with a heart of steel. There's Iron Man, all jets of these. So Rick Jones is with the Team Brigade. Talking to the Fantastic Four. Who really aren't interested in helping. They're wrapped up in another tish now, son. But according to my calculations, your message should be picked up by some others who can help you. If you don't get help soon, radio back and let me know. You kidding, Reed? Who else could ever do what we can do? Well, you are the first family, of course. You are the Fantastic Four, but we need other groups. We need other superheroes, of course. Agreed, RJ. I love that Thor design. Nine-page panel. Don't see that anymore, man. Youngins need 5 pages for that story. They use the brats. Yeah. So, let me see. Anyway, let's go through it. Rick Jones, who's, of course, the Hulk sidekick at this point, pretty much, gets the group together. Well, you all know wackiness ensues. I'm not even going to review it tonight, but he's a clown. Let's take a look a little bit. It's a lot of pages in this one. At this point, I really thought Kirby's, work was starting to evolve even more than it was. It was really getting to a point, a little bit after this, but getting to a point where it was starting to look amazing. Dick Ayer's inks are certainly excellent. And again, I'm not going to go into the story. I'm going to review it in Kirby month, but just talking a little bit about the comic and its history of itself. This was huge, though, as our boy Nick likes to say. Alara Carrollson, what's up? Hey there. Good to see you, my friend. But you notice how it wasn't the same story in the first Avengers movie in 2012, but it was some of the basic ideas of it, where it was Loki. It's the first appearance of the Avengers, and Loki's there manipulating things. He even intended to manipulate the Hulk. Tried to a little bit, he was going to use him. So that was pretty cool. Let's take a look at how our poll is going, Shady, before we return to the history. All right. So the question is, let me make sure I got this right. Make sure I refresh this here. Okay. The question is, with 26 votes now. I don't know. Wow, still big lead though. Which of these classic super teams do you like best, the Avengers or the X-Men? 65% likes the X-Men the best, and 35% going to, 65% likes the Avengers best. I'm an imbecile. And the X-Men is checking in at 35%. Wowzer. Wow. All right. There you go. So back to Mike's Amazing fellers. All right. So now, again, look, it's amazing how far down it took us to get to the first of the quote unquote big companies, because there was no Marvel or DC to be found until you get way down here. Now, of course, the release date is July the 2nd. But look at this. After this, more Kirby, Fantastic Four Annual. Well, a great Fantastic Four Annual, by the way. Annual number 1. Journey into Mystery. Number 96. And I think at least it had some Kirby layouts on that one. Then again, Marvel. So you got a few, you had the Gallant Men by Gold Key. Gold Key checking in there. Millie the Model by Marvel. Now, I know my buddy D-Bud has some of the... D-Bud, you have some issues of Millie the Model, don't you? I know. I mean, it goes without saying the Phantom Outsider has every issue of Millie the Model. I mean, let's just be, let's be real here. So, let's see. Where am I? Okay, all right. So then we got The Nurses by Gold Key, Patsy and Hetty, by Marvel. That's Patsy Walker. 72 pages. Look at that. Yeah. Patsy Walker again. Patsy, then Patsy Walker. Sergeant Fury #3. Again, another Kirby book. Tales to Astonish, another Kirby book. Top Cat by Gold Key. Another, it was interesting at the time, a lot of cartoons. There was a lot of media tie-ins with cartoons and even movies, still movies even at that point. And yes, Turok by Gold Key. Turok, Son of Stone. Love it. Pinocchio by Gold Key. A Disney tie-in. See? Another tie-in book. And then, of course, The X-Men by Marvel. Marvel Comics. Because, wow, why not, really? And let's find that. Let me pull up my X-Men #1. Where are you at? Okay, I have it. So I'm here. There we go. There we go. There you are. All right. Present armed. Oops. What are you doing? There we go. Okay. Mike T. Says true horror is watching culture attempt to clean that weave. Oh, is that what he's doing? I think you're referring to our good buddy Culture Casino, maybe, who is an extraordinary gentleman, a very nice fellow. A buddy of mine just texted me something funny. Okay. Well, I wouldn't know about that too much, but I hear you, Mike T. He's referring to Culture. Well, Culture Casino's not here, but he's always welcome to be, of course. Bushpan now says, how accurate would you say Earth's Mightiest Heroes to the comics? I've actually been rewatching that for like my 20th time. Just today I watched an episode. It's not 100% accurate, Bushpan down. It picks bits and pieces, but it does a pretty good job of what it. I mean, it's very in terms of whatever it does pick. Usually, it does it very well. Not 100%, but I love it because it gives you that feel of it, and they try to approximate as much as they possibly can. On Gamma World, yeah, I love that Gamma World. Like I say, it's not 100% adapted or accurate, but it's really great, in my opinion. The Gamma World episodes were great. Yeah, I love them. So, the strangest superheroes of all, the X-Men. Don't miss this fabulous first issue. And, of course, they open up with the X-Men. I don't know. I always have a soft spot for these uniforms. I don't know about you. Anyone else like the classic original X-Men uniforms? I kind of like. Of course, I like some of the other ones later. And I'm gonna ask you all the weird question: who is your favorite? And let's just stick with the original X-Men since we're talking about their debut, right? Of the original X-Men group, who is your favorite? Spoiler alert: mine is Cyclops. He's my favorite of X-Men of them all. I know a lot of people hate him, but I love Cyclops. And so Pat S says Jean Grey, Marvel Girl, and I'm gonna vote for Marvel Girl. Doss Wolf and Magneto's the villain. I mean of the heroes, but of the X-Men group. Magneto is a great villain, but there's nothing wrong with that. Of course. Now you're humming that theme, man. I just rewatched that X-Men 90s cartoon about a year or so, a little less than a year ago. We watched them all. Well, I should say, necessarily say rewatch because it was something I didn't see before, so I watched it all. I binged it all. Great music, great theme. Stories had sometimes I was iffy on here and there. Anyway. Still opens up with the group just meeting them. This had to be awkward. But still, fine curvy art. Again, the Avengers book, Dick Ayers inks as opposed to Paul Ryman here was also a very good inker. There's my boy Cyclops. This issue was just a bunch of them getting them fighting each other. And then at the end, there's Jean. Not the end, but I mean later. Bubba hubba. Boy, what a... the way that this writing... I'm sorry. I don't know. I was reading some of so... Man, do I really want to read some of this dialogue? No. But there he is, boys. Magneto. DC Universe Warrior for Life. Hello there. Okay. DC Universe Warrior for Life. Welcome to Clobberin Time. Says, restore the Snyderverse. Well, it's never going to happen. I hate the Snyderverse personally, but you're welcome to, of course, wish for anything there. And I can't wish you luck on that, but if it happens, then I'll say congratulations. Probably not going to though. And Retcon Doomsday Clock. I didn't even read Doomsday Clock because I dumped out of Marvel and DC a long time ago. I've heard some people like it. I can't stand the idea of it, so we might actually agree on that one. DC Comics should never be anything like Marvel. And that's kind of mythological in the sense that Marvel and DC throughout the years had all the same writers and artists in and out of their, I'm talking since the old days, since there was a Marvel, starting about 60 years ago, and since a little over 60 years ago, and since Marvel and DC became the big two rivals in the silver and bronze and age, and the characters were never all that different in terms of, there were some differences, but their stories always went along familiar lines very often because a lot of the same writers and artists were in and out of those companies. So there's not a big myth, a big difference between the two in comic books. Now, I'm not talking about movies. In comic books, movies also, in movies, there have definitely been differences, and there are differences between the two. But for the most part, a lot of the same writers and artists work for them. And usually when I talk about these characters, I start from a comic book perspective anyway. Movies, I'm getting to the point where I don't even care about movies anymore. RJ Godzilla says, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, 90s X-Men, the animated series, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, 90s Spider-Man, the animated series, and Spectacular Spider-Man, 90s Incredible Hulk are my favorite. Well, those are some nice choices. And I look, RJ, man, I'm getting to the point where I just love the animated stuff so much more that I don't even care much about the live action movies anymore. I like some of them, sure, and we don't all agree on the ones to like. I mean, our new friend there, he wants the Snyderverse back. I don't. We probably don't like a lot of the same ones, but they've made a bunch of them. And now we're at the point where it doesn't even matter if whatever comes back now, and it's not. It's just who cares? I think what we all should have learned by now, whichever of the movies that you like or dislike, even the ones you like are not exactly not close enough to the comics for a comics aficionado. But we get a handful of them that we like here and there, and that's great. For the most part, I don't know. If I could just get good animated features like films and series of stuff of these characters that harken back to the old days when we were reading these comics, I'd be happy, and I wouldn't even care about the live action stuff anymore. Thank you, RJ and Steven. I mean, seriously, it's not that I wouldn't watch the movies. Watch them, or have been, as you know. It's just kind of past its time. Now, if they need to rest them a little bit, leave them alone, and then bring in new people who have respect for the characters. I know, whether we like it or not, they're always going to be fiddling around with them. And now you have James Gunn, and we're a couple of years away from that, and maybe that's a nice breathing time. Das Wolfman, I have a lot of problems with Watchmen. I'm a big Watchmen fanatic in terms of how much I love the original comic when it originally came out in the 80s, and for years and years, for the 23 years between when it came out and when it made a movie of it, I loved it. There's, as much as I can't stand Snyder, he did some things very well in that movie, like some of his casting, and then some of the visuals look good, and then he did a lot of really stupid stuff in the Watchmen movie. I won't get started on that now because we're talking about this, but that was in the early days when I first started podcasting, and that was one of the big reasons I started this, was the filthy Jar Jar Abrams trash and Snyder trash Watchmen. So anyway, a little bit more looks at the Kirby greatness of X-Men #1, fighting Magneto. Surrender on the base, or I'll take it by force. And Magneto is a bad mother. How you like that, boys? There's a Marvel girl. There's Jean posing in her costume. And look, three of the guys are watching her from around the corner. You again, honestly, can a girl get any privacy around here? Pat says, I can't believe they're doing the new Blade. They're not going to, I don't think that Blade movie is going to happen. I think a lot of stuff is not. Hey, the AI show, what's up, sir? AI says, Watchmen, you wrote Watchman, but I know you mean Watchmen. Never wanted the movie, never watched the movie, and I messed that up too. Refused to, even this day, into this day. Well, look, I don't blame you one bit. You're not missing much. A lot of people love it. I'm one of the, it's weird that a lot of people love it and defend it, even though they admit that some of the, even with its flaws and its deviations from the comic, people just love it anyway, which is fine. I actually like elements of it too, but it's an interesting thing to watch. And it's it's worth it just to see Jackie Earle Haley play Rorschach is worth it. That I would, if you're a Rorschach fan like I was, that is worth it. And some of the other casting, like Night Owl, Patrick Wilson is terrific as Night Owl. Jeffrey D. Morgan is terrific as the comedian. If you just to see those things are kind of fun. But Yeah, I'm one of the few that really criticizes the movie nowadays. Used to be a lot of people were. Now you hear, "Hey, Matthew Pounder, good to see you there, buddy." Now you hear a lot of people kind of just, they'll say defend. No, I really liked it, man. It's cool. You don't hear a lot of people. I guess because movies have just gotten so bad now. I mean, and Kal-El says the early DCAU, starting with Batman animated series, culminating with the Justice League Unlimited series, has some of the best comic adaptation stories I've ever seen. Fully agree, sir. I must concur with you big time, buddy. I mean, even they weren't perfect, but no one ever is. But man, they were really good. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. Great stuff, man. RJ Godzilla fell asleep with the Watchmen movie. Well, there you go. Yeah, Rorschach was great, though. Let's see. Anyway. So let's finish this up a little bit. We're not really reviewing it. We're just showing some stuff. The X-Men get together and go after Magneto. And some cool Kirby action ensues. And then he runs off. You have just finished the newest, most unusual tale in the annals of modern magazines, but the best is yet to come. For fantasy at its greatest, don't miss issue number 2 of X-Men, the strangest superheroes of all. You heard him. You heard him. Don't miss it. So back to Mike's. Mike's blog there. So that's X-Men number 1, and we're still barely through that month. So by the time you got to X-Men number 1, where are you? Oh, yeah. Yogi Bear by Gold Key. Finally, a DC. Look, this is the first DC book we've hit, I think. Green Lantern by DC. Yes, Gil Kane. Yeah, buddy. Gil Kane, Green Lantern era. House of Mystery, DC. Our Army at War, DC. Secret Hearts, DC. Superboy, yes. Superboy 107 from DC. Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, DC. Tomahawk, DC. Adele. Amazing Spider-Man number 5. Number 5. There you go. Marvel. Car 54, where are you? Is Dell. Fantastic Four, number 19. Who, of course, more Kirby greatness. So, the X-Men Factor, superhero talent show. Yeah. One of the few Silver Age titles that I had a complete run of was X-Men. X-Men number 2 was the hard one to find. Oh, yep, that figures. There were other DC books up to Action 304 and Adventure 312 were the two last shown, Clobby. Okay, thank you. I know they're not alphabetical. I can't believe I missed them. I can't believe I missed them because I suck at this. Oh, thank you so much, Bushman, now for the super chat. You're too kind. I appreciate that, sir. He says, thanks for the comic history. Can't wait for Kirby month. Oh, we had a blast last Kirby month, and I'm working on it now to try to make it fun and do something a little bit still Kirby, but different, a bit different from last month. Oh, you know what? I don't know where that action is. Short by publishing date. Okay, I didn't see an action in an adventure, but I'll go back and look. Ba-bop, ba-bop. No, I'm at Green Lantern now. I have not seen. I didn't see an action and adventure before that. I'll go one more time and look, because I do go too fast sometimes. No fancy. Pretty sure the first one here by DC is Green Lantern. So, anyway. You might have yours by alphabetical. I've got this by I got this list is done by it's sorted by by release date. By publication date. See, there's an option. You can do alphabetical or you can by publication date. So that's what you probably did, alphabetical. No biggie. Look, I always appreciate the advice. Good night, Penny. Thank you for being here, my dear. Lovely to see you. All right. So, House of Mystery. Let's see. After Superboy. Okay. Where were I? Oh, FF19. More great Kirby stuff, of course. Mr. Magoo by Dell. Patsy and Hetty by Marvel. Again. Rawhide Kid by Marvel. Dell. Stony Burke by Dell. Holy crap. Does anybody remember the TV show Stony Burke? If anyone, no one here's that old. I only know it because of a friend of mine who bought the old box set of it. Anyone? All right, be honest with me now. All right, Chris Birch, have a great night, buddy. Thanks for being here, pal. Stony Burke, anybody? Going once. Nope. Nobody. Bueller. No one's going to know this one. Nope. Okay. It's fair enough. This show, a few years ago. Hey, it's Courtney. What's up, dear? Good to see you. Yeah, Stony Burke's different. So Stony Burke. And it's weird because it must be a reprint. This show was years older than this. Maybe. Or maybe not. No. Okay. The deal was it's just, I can't believe there's a comic book of this. All right. No reason anyone should have heard of it though. But here's the weird thing about me. My friend, and it's a side story. I know it has nothing to do with anything, but I can't help it. This show, it was a show that lasted maybe like one season around 1962 or 3, whatever it was. And that's Jack Lord. That's right. It's right before he did Hawaii Five-0. A buddy of mine bought there was like a DVD set of the episodes, and he buys that kind of stuff. He brings it over. This is a few years ago. If you're listening out there, dude, I'm telling the Stony Burke story on you. And he said, you want to watch this? And he brings DVDs over when he can, not as much as he used to, and we watch, buys all these old Westerns and all these old TV shows and stuff. And it's cool to watch them. We enjoy it and stuff. So he said, Stony Brook. I said, yeah, look, it's Jack Lord. So what is this? Stony Brook 50. Stony Brook 50. So anyway, I'm like, what is this? What's the idea? What's the concept? Is it a Western? No, not really. He's on a horse, so you might think it's a Western, right? Westerns were big back then. It's actually not a Western. It was set in contemporary times, but he worked as a rodeo wrangler. And it was about this rodeo troupe going over, going cross country and he has these adventures. And I was like, wait a minute. We all know what a rodeo is. I mean, I've been to a rodeo as kids, went to rodeos. How does the guy have, I mean, what are the exploits how can that be interesting? The exploits of a rodeo wrangler, guy who just rides horses and messes around rodeo. So we watched one. I think Leonard Nimoy was in an episode, by the way. It's kind of why we watched it. Probably why he bought it. And they're like, wow. It was boring. I'm like, man, no wonder Jack Lord got lucky to get away from this and get Hawaii 5-0, which he did for 10, 11 years? And Fanti says, season 1, 32 episodes. He was a bronco buster in a rodeo competing for the golden buckle, whatever that. And he would have these. How does that lend to adventures? Tell you, oh, wait, Pat S. You don't have to worry about that. I have those, but yeah. Ailey Smith and Jones is one of the greatest shows ever. I love it. I have the first season. I need to get the second season, but he's brought we watch those all the time. So it's just weird. It's like, why is there a comic book of Stony Brook? Why was there a show of Stony? I can't believe they did 32 episodes, Fanti. Wow. But I always tease him about it. He says, why do you hate the show so much? I don't hate it. I just thought it wasn't really that good. Strange Tales, more Kirby greatness by Marvel. Tales of Suspense. Now, actually, sometimes Strange Tales wasn't Kirby. It was Dick Ayers, but Kirby did the cover, so there you go. And the Tales of Suspense. Black Hawk by DC. Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones by Gold Key. A lot of movie tie-ins. Gold Key and Charlton had all those movie tie-ins. I mean, movies, not movie, TV tie-ins. House of Secrets by DC. But they showed me that. Awesome. Season 2 changed lead, but still good. Yeah, well, season 2 had no choice but to change the lead. This sad story about one of the sad stories. Hello there, Picasso. One of the sad stories about in Hollywood. One of the few back then, yeah. Poor old Pete Duel. Good to see you here, Picasso. Always a pleasure. Thanks for popping in, my friend. All right, let's see here. Huckleberry Hound from Gold Key. Many Lives of Dobie Gillis. Whoop. I can't do the song. Dobie Gillis. Again, TV tie-ins. DC with this one. That was rare for them to get a TV tie-in. But it's the Many Loves of Dobie Gillis. Margie's Little Lulu. Rip Hunter's Time Master, DC. The Three Stooges by Gold Key, another media tie-in by Gold Key with Walt Disney's Dumbo, Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse, Gold Key. Gold Key had these publishers of comic books were doing very well. I said loves. I may have said, yeah, Pete Duel was great. Yeah, Roger Davis his biggest crime is he was not Pete Duel. Pete Duel was so great in that role. My goodness. Loves. Did I say lives or lives or I'm sorry. Well, it was loves, yeah. I corrected it. Man, oh man. pedantic people. Where are we at? World of Adventure. Well, and Walt Disney's World of Adventure. Baby Huey. Harvey. Harvey's finally in the game now. Now we're into the Harvey comics. Harvey. Blondie and Dagwood. Harvey. Casper. Harvey. Friendly Ghost Casper. Harvey. Harvey Hits Harvey. Hot Stuff Little Devil Harvey. Now I know you got a bunch of these, D-Bud, right? Am I right? You got a lot of these Harvey comics? I'd say you do. You've told me you've had some of these. Again, these weren't before you were born, but I'm sure you have some of them, right? Little Dot. Playful Little Audrey. Both Harvey. Harvey. Sad Cat Harvey. Sad Sack and the Sarge Harvey. I mean, comics were just, I mean, it was a lot of competition out there. Incredible, really. Sad Sack's Army Life, Harvey. Spooky, Harvey. Wendy the Good Little Witch, Harvey. Dr. Kildare, Dell. I mean, look at how many of these comics are media tie-ins. That's another thing that strikes me about this era. A lot of these are TV shows and some movies, mostly TV shows. So almost, look how many TV shows had a comic book. Ray LaCourt says, in the late 80s, a company named Gladstone, I remember them, reprinted those Disney comics. I had 2 or 3 of the Mickey Mouse being a detective. They reprinted a lot of the Godfredson comics and the Carl Bark stuff. I heard about that, Brian Hepburn. That's true. Roger Davis was a lucky man. He was married to Jacqueline Smith. Yeah. Hey, we have a new member. Lester San Jose. Oh, thank you, Lester. Thank you for joining. I'm honored to have you here, my friend. Thank you so much. I don't have a special thing to play when somebody joins as a member. I know I should, but I'll do this one in honor of you.
It's Clobberin time.
Thank you. All right, so it just strikes me how many of these are media tie-ins. Laurel and Hardy by Dell. The New Adventures of Pinocchio by Dell. And, of course, Adventures into the Unknown by ACG Comics. Remember them? We'll see more of them soon, probably. Back to finally another DC book. Aquaman number 11. Augie Doggy by Gold Key. Again, a cartoon. Batman 158 by DC. Flash 139 by DC. And it's a huge issue. Reverse Flash. Girls Romances by DC. Jetsons, the Jetsons comic. D-But says have reprints of Hot Stuff, but sadly no more originals. Gotcha. Good old Professor Zoom. Well, thank you, Lester. I'm honored. Yeah, Professor Zoom. I always love that cover. Infantino and Anderson were they were amazing. Oh man, look at this. Mighty Hercules by Gold Key. Who remembers this cartoon? He's the mighty Hercules. Hercules, you elevate song and glory, Hercules. You live ancient glory with the strength of 10 ordinary men fighting for the right. Sorry. I could get in trouble. Oh dear, I'm so sorry about that. I didn't mean to sing. All right. Where was I? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about this little puppy. 1 second here. I have a reason I wanted to show you that one, but I messed something up, so I have to check it. Um, what is wrong with you? Sorry, buddy. Bit of a. I wanted to check something before I went into that other one there. What is wrong with you? DC. All right. Sorry about having a. Ugh, man. All right. Okay. I needed to. Oh, all right. I got what I needed. I needed to check something there. Okay. So put it back. Sorry, everybody. Had a bit of an issue, if you'll pardon the pun. Look at this. This has always interested me, though. This is My Greatest Adventure number 82. It's the third appearance of the Doom Patrol. Yes, the Doom Patrol who predate the X-Men by about 3 months. Yep, Matthew, that's exactly right. Anonymous Gamer. Good to see you. Welcome. Good to see you here. So I've always found that interesting, and my information got. I never trust myself with issue numbers. Damn it. My Romantic Adventures number 134 by ACG Comics. Mystery in Space by DC. Nancy and Sluggo by Gold Key. Unknown Worlds by ACG. Walt Disney presents Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs by Gold Key. More TV tie-ins and movie tie-ins. Walt Disney's Comics and Stories by Gold Key. World's Finest, yes, DC. Thank you. Young Love by DC. All right, man. Famous Monsters by Warren. 1964 yearbook. I love Famous Monsters. Action Comics 304. Oh man, yes sir. Adventure Comics 312, a classic. Jerry Lewis. The Jerry Lewis comic by DC. Here I come to save the day. Mighty Mouse. Adventures of Mighty Mouse by Gold Key. All American Men at War by DC. Alvin by Dell. Boris Karloff by Gold Key. Bozo the Clown by Dell. Detective Comics 319 by, of course, DC. ACG's Forbidden Worlds. Justice League of America number 22. That's a classic right there, too, boy. By DC, and of course, Lassie, Gold Key. Mutton Jeff, New Jokes, Harvey. Richie Rich, Harvey. Sea Devils, DC. Showcase with Tommy Tomorrow in it, I believe there. Yep, DC. Strange Adventures with DC. Stumbo, Tiny Town with Harvey, Walt Disney Comics, Donald Duck by Gold Key, and Walt Disney's Donald Duck album by Gold Key. So basically, why did I read through all those? Because look how many comics came out the same month, the same bloody month as Avengers number 1 and X-Men number 1. Look how many comics. You'd have had to ask them. I mean, you'd had to have a lot of dimes on you. And pennies. Because they were 12 cents. So, I guess if I were playing Spinner Rack Time Machine right now. Oh, I messed something up here. Wait, before we get to that, let's go back to our poll. Let's go take a look at our poll right now. Okay, 40 votes in. Wow, I appreciate everyone voting. Tightened up a little bit. The question, of course, being which of these classic super teams do you like best? 60% of you say the Avengers, but the good old X-Men is fighting back with a 40%. So interesting indeed. Avengers are definitely far more in the public eye. And I think they have, but it's not just that. Well, a lot of us here are geeks, and we're not Joe Public. So the Avengers getting that kind of win is interesting to see how that it's more long. They have longer legs than the X-Men, but the X-Men is more popular in some ways. But I don't know, maybe with us, some of us around here, it's not as much. I love the original X-Men. I even like some of the new ones a little bit, but out of the two, of course, I don't get a vote in this, but I would vote for Avengers if I could. Yes, RJ, and it's true. Avengers maintained a big audience. Of X-Men died a couple of times. Yes, the original X-Men was not really that popular. That's true, Ravenscroft. That's very true. So basically, if I'm in my spinning rack time machine, as a few years ago, for those who don't know, I have a bunch of videos I did that we call spinning rack time machine, which I would pretend each week I would pretend that I took my spinning rack time machine back to a certain week in 1971 each week, and what comics of those would I single out to buy at the comic shop selling those comics. So to play that a little bit here with this month, the month that Avengers #1 and X-Men #1 came out, I'm gonna look at all these and tell you the ones that I would buy. I would buy Adventures of the Fly. I mean, looking at this one, it's not Simon and Kirby reprints, but I would buy it. I would buy it. You know, by the way, I'm using old day sensibilities combined with sensibilities right now. That if I'm in there, so if me right now, so I would buy the Fly. I would buy Brain Boy, Dell's Brain Boy, just for the hell of it. I might buy Kid Montana. I don't know, just have a Western comic. And I think it's a reprint of it's a strip reprint, if I remember right. So there's wow, 3 already. I'm also going to buy, not on this row, none. Oh, Space Adventures by Charlton. No, maybe, because I think there's some Ditko in there. I'm not sure. But no, I might not get that one, or Spaceman, or Space War, or Submarine Attack. None on this row either. None. And of course, Avengers #1, duh. Of course. Fantastic Four Annual #1, of course. Journey into Mystery 96, of course. Your Muslim Uncle, what's up, buddy? Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Matthew Pounder, you're right. I skipped. Did I miss Conga? Damn me. I'm getting Conga. Good call. Thank you. Before I left, I'm glad you reminded me that. Before I left the shop. And had to go all the way back in time. Sorry. Okay. This row? Not till we get to Sergeant Fury, of course. Sergeant Fury 3, yes. Tales to Ashanis 48, yes. Turok Son of Stone 35, yes. X-Men #1, of course. Green Lantern 23, of course. Superboy 107, of course. Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, 71, of course. Tomahawk, yes. Spidey number 5, of course. Car 54, where are you? No, I wouldn't really get it, but I like singing it. Sorry. Fantastic 419, of course. Rawhide Kid, 36, probably. Probably got some Kirby in there, too. Stony Burke, no. Sorry. All right. Strange Tales, of course. Tales of Suspense, of course. Black Hawk, yes. Flintstones, I don't know about. No. House of Secrets. House of Secrets, maybe. So, House of Mystery was out in 63. Yes. Was early. Joseph Fred says. Oh, yeah. Joseph. No brainer on those ones. Yeah, buddy. All right, so let's see. Where were I? Rip Hunter's Time Masters, yes. Time Master, yes. None of those, sorry. None of those. Adventures in the Unknown, I might actually get. Aquaman, yes. Batman 158, of course. Flash 139 rather, of course. Nope. I might get Mighty Hercules from Gold Key. I think I might get that one. My Greatest Adventure with the Doom Patrol, of course. Mystery in Space with Adam Strange, of course. I actually like some of these old Unknown Worlds by ACG, so I'll probably get Unknown Worlds. Then, of course, World's Finest. Famous Monsters, yep. Action Comics and Adventure Comics goes without saying, yes, of course. Maybe, I don't know about Jerry Lewis, but Mighty Mouse I might pick up for Gold Key, yeah. All American Men at War, yes. Boris Karloff by Gold Key, I might grab that one just for the hell of it. The Detective Comics, of course. Forbidden Worlds, yes. Justice League, duh, of course. Sea Devils, believe it or not, yes. Tommy Tomorrow, yes. And the Planeteers, yes. Strange Adventures, probably, yeah. And that's about it. So that's a lot of comics. That's a big month for me there. Big month. Lester says, man, thank God for syndication. Even I drank up Flintstones and Huckleberry Hound along with all the others. Yes. No, yeah. Huckleberry Hound with Terry Toons. Or famous cartoons from Terry Toons. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Was Batman in this weird period at the time? I was thinking, yes. He was still a few years away, leading into the TV show. And yes, Ravenscroft Batman was pretty goofy. JT Kirk, what's up, buddy? What do you say there, Kimasabi? Good to see you. So, yeah, this, man, what are you going to do? So, comics were different back then. In the month that Avengers number 1 and X-Men number 1 were all in the stands, it was very different. Things were very different. And it was an actual comic book business to. I don't know. I can't believe it's just. I don't know. It's just still want to go back and look at those things. I go, wow! Look at all these comics that were coming out. Sometimes I just like to go to that site and look at certain months of comics, and brings back memories. Fandy says 126 titles that month. Wow. How many titles does DC or Marvel do these days? Of course, they weren't all Marvel or DC. That's the thing. They weren't even, Marvel and DC did not even make up a healthy percentage of those comics. They were there, but look how many Gold Key and Charlton, especially, and Dell. They were the big guys. Marvel was starting to get big, yeah. Das Wolfman, have a good one. And if you're dreaming about spinner racks, dream about the really cool spinner racks. We'll go back in my spinner rack time machine and visit some comic shops. That's all I really want to do is go hit comic shops, folks. I went to some buddies of mine went to this a couple weeks back. We went to this mini con that charges too much money to get in, but it was halfway between where I live and they live. A couple hours trip for each of us. And we don't get to hang but once every couple of months, once or twice a year at these things. And so we went to it and had just a blast there. Some of them are hardcore collectors, but we just went there and had some fun. The con didn't have much, but we went to a comic shop that was sold. This comic shop we went to, this very small one that we had not seen before in this neutral city. Really kind of a hole in the wall, but the guy only sells back issues and some toys. Doesn't even mess with new stuff, which you'll find a lot of. And anyway, that week when we went there a few weeks back, we found out that this past Saturday, they were having a little get together, not like a little mini con for free to walk in, and it was about an hour from where I live, about 2.5 hours from where they live. So we all went up again this past Saturday, and there's nothing of a show. They didn't have much. It was tiny, like it was an old, like a refurbished old firehouse. Apparently a one-truck firehouse, but there had some dealers in there and with some comics. I bought a couple of coverless comics. That's all I bought. Believe it or not, I bought coverless comics. But they really didn't have much. But we got there and hung out anyway. Just had a good time, just hanging with the geeks, geeking out like we always do. Lester says, would you say the comic book scene wasn't monopolized for a good while until we were left with just DC and Marvel? Yes. I mean, well, Marvel and DC started to really kind of dig a firm grip in there as far as getting a big monopoly a couple of different times, and it didn't always. They've had it challenged before. They were getting a pretty big one, it seems to me, in the late 70s and the early 80s, and then along comes the direct sales market and the advent of more and more comic book shops. And, your independent publishers, and, you're fighting for your the independent dollar, and because the comic shops, that means people going to comic shops were older, so they were fighting for the older readers that, and Marvel had to get into that fight with them. And it took them a decade throughout the 80s to try to fight and try not to lose the older readers, even though, and while maintaining the younger readers. Very different, very difficult to do. And they did it, but, but DC and Marvel kind of did it together. And the smaller publishers still existed and still exist to this day, but I say it took them a long time to really get back on top. And in the meantime, Marvel, when it ended up splintering a lot of their rights, going bankrupt once, I think almost twice, really, was it twice? And selling the rights to their characters all over the freaking place, whereas DC didn't do that. I mean, they had other issues. They had fights for the rights of characters they'd stolen. And I don't mean the people, everybody who worked for DC, just the people, the corporation in general stole from, it's the original creators of many of their most famous characters, of course. But that's nothing new. They all did that. So, yeah, I mean, they never really had a monopoly, but for a while, there was a reason they are to this day, maybe inaccurately now, but the reason why they were for a long time called the Big Two. And everybody, when they said comics, they would just say Marvel or DC this or Marvel or DC that, not taking into account that before Marvel before they were DC was National Periodical Publications, and then started calling themselves DC. Marvel was Timely, then Atlas, then Marvel, and then there are so many other companies: Quality, Fawcett. So many. Ridiculous. Too many to name, really. EC, ACG, so many of them. Archie, of course, Harvey, Dell, Gold Key, and then, of course, in the 80s, all those other ones, Pacific Comics and First Comics and Capital City and Dark Horse. Very few of those are standing now. Yes, everyone, our good buddy Pablo's mother. I hope she's okay, man. Nothing more important than taking care of mom. And Pablo, we wish you the best from here, partner. The best for your mother, man. So absolutely, it's just. So let's see the poll. 42 votes. Oh man, I tell you what, X-Men is not giving up without a fight. Just saying. X-Men's, hanging in there. What do you say about that? Now, like I said, personally, especially when you measure the original Avengers and the original X-Men, they never really clicked that well in the original group. I liked them, but they didn't catch on like the Avengers. Why do you think that is at the time now? I'm not talking about later. We know how the X-Men did later. I think at the time is one, they were kids. They were kind of young. We already had the Fantastic Four that had kind of a uniformed look. They're the School of Mutants, this uniformed look they had. Kids reading the comics at the time may have thought, well, they all look the same clothes. Whereas the Avengers, they had various, moods of dress, if you will. They look different. They all look different. I'm not saying that's the big deal, mind you. I'm just saying. And the Avengers switched around roster a lot. Oh, yes, Kamiko. Mirage Studios, yeah. I don't know. With the Warren Annual and the FF Annual, you could have bought them all for like $16. Jesus. I'm just trying to figure, why did one book succeed and the other one kind of flopped? It kind of flailed around for a while and then got canceled in issues like 30s or 40s or 50s or whatever it was. 60s maybe. And anyway, it got brought back as a reprint book for like 30-something issues. It was reprints until the new X-Men came along with Giant Size 1 and X-Men 94. So I don't know. HB says the X-Men kept trying to new members, but kept getting turned down. I guess, yeah. I think I have some Robotech comics from Kamiko. Yeah, I remember those. Honestly, about half of the early X-Men had sort of boring powers and didn't have a great visual appeal. That's fair enough. It could be that. Could be that because the Avengers were a hit. Even I don't know. Even when it was, I'm not sure. Remember Cap's Kooky Quartet? Even Avengers was even pretty popular when that was going on. But I think they work better as a bigger group. If you know what I mean. The old Wayne. Yeah, and thing is, Fancy Kirby X-Men were dynamic, but the blue and yellow was too plain. They had different costumes. And remember, they did change the costumes up later. I kind of like these, but I know what you're talking about. I kind of like them. Here's the thing. Maybe they needed gaudier outfits, and they did change them later. Whereas the FF, I'm glad they stayed like they were. No one complained about it with the FF. Marvel's 60 kids, or maybe 60 kids, 60s kids felt the X-Men were too much like a boarding school with school uniforms. They're good. That could be. Because Marvel was kind of more appealing towards the young adults. I mean, older kids or teens, some teens in the mid-teens and stuff, and even closer to college kids at the time. And maybe, look, the Teen Titans comics at the time weren't doing all that great, but they were okay. The Legion were doing all right, but they didn't have their own title yet, per se. I don't know. Maybe they just like they were all a bunch of sidekicks. Kick them to the side, eh, boss? I understand what you're saying. I understand you, Ravenscroft says. I mean, I like Beast and Angel, but their powers aren't that compelling or helpful most of the time. Yeah, I know. I get you. Well, Avengers, of course, lasted. All right, Joseph Dredd, you comes the judge. Thank you for being here tonight, buddy. We appreciate you so much. But I don't know. But it was a good run though. It was a good run for the X-Men, and now they're still popular, but they're not like this group, and I just don't really. I like this one. I even liked the new X-Men for a while. Again, Len Wein and the Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum run with Byrne and Terry Austin and all that kind of stuff. I liked a lot of that stuff, but they've never been my big deal. The X-Men, they've never been my. Yeah, it's just me. Yep. No breakout characters at all. And it shows. The Beast never really interested me until he joined the Avengers with Warren the Wonder Man. Yeah, that's when I first saw him. By the time I was old enough to pick up some of these books that were new, my first seeing of the Beast was Blue Furry Beast in the Avengers. Then later I got a hand of some reprints. I remember I got a hand of one of my Son of Origins of Marvel Comics which had X-Men #1 in it. I'll never forget. I think that's the first time I saw the Beast that looked like this. And I was like, what the hell? That's not the Beast, is it? How's that the Beast? I had to read it, of course, and find out that, okay, that's what he looked like at the beginning. Oh, well. He's not my Beast. He's Hank McCoy, though. I do love Hank McCoy. I think he's a great character. Keely Chow, Roll Tide. Now, one of the things that, as far as Avengers in the early days goes, that Marvel did get right and the movies don't get right. And don't, before you start having like, well, you can't do that in the movie. I know. But I like the fact that by issue #2, the Hulk was gone. The Hulk doesn't belong in the Avengers. If you say that to a moviegoer that likes the Avengers movies, we have a Hulk. Yeah. I don't know, maybe it's controversial to say this now. I don't know. I love the Hulk. It's one of my favorite characters. He doesn't belong with the Avengers. Now, he's perfect for the Defenders. And I love him in the defense. I love how that works out. But not in the Avengers. Just saying. mean, again, don't get me wrong. I love some of those movies, and he's fine. I'm just saying that, yeah, man, oh man. In the comic, it never worked for a lot of the reasons that you see in the movie. Well, Hulk was way too grumpy. You're right, to work on a team. Fancy, that's true. But I don't know. I get you. But they made it work in the movies, and it's one that's fine. But I can't help it. We talked about movies a lot earlier. Man, I just want to say I wanted to see. What is it so much to ask to get a Defenders movie with Doctor Strange, Hulk, and real Submariner and real Silver Surfer? Answer: yes, it's too much to ask. Oh yeah, it's too much to ask. It's too much to ask. Say, yeah. I don't know. So, Avengers lost its way after Kirby left. Didn't pick up again until the Thomas Buscema era, says Mike. Says Matthew Pounder. Oh yeah, look, and there's the thing. There've been so many classic Avengers runs. Dude, man, amazing. So many. And there came a day unlike any other. Anybody have an Avengers #1? No, nobody. That calls for a celebration. I mean, I don't know, Matthew. You didn't like any of the Cap's Kooky Quartet stuff. You didn't like the Don Heck Avengers that much. Stevie says, I'm actually glad they kept the Hulk in the Avengers movie simply for the scene where he beats Loki, flips around. Yeah, I understand what you mean. No. Look, no, but that was their first adventure. He's in their first adventure too. I love that, and I'm fine with him being in there. Don't get me wrong, in the movies. But it would have been cool to see a Defenders movie, so that Defenders TV show that was nothing like the Defenders. Heck was these artists for contributing to the plots the same way, but he wasn't contributing to the plots the same way Kirby did. I've heard that he did contribute in some ways when Kirby wasn't available, because Stan Lee never did. Garzilla says, I think at the time maybe I think at the time maybe, but I think Hulk eventually gets to a place to work on the Avengers in the comics, and I felt that way long before 212. Gotcha. Earliest Avengers I have is number 89. Whoa, it's the beginning of the Kree Skrull War, isn't it? Or is it? What in the hell? JT Kirk, what's happening? He said, oh my God, there is a Flipper comic book run from, I don't know what you mean, sir. I don't know what you mean there, bloody hell. Oh dear. Ravenscroft says, here's my gripe. Avengers used to be special place. But yeah, now the entire Marvel universe has to be Avengers. I'm talking old stuff here. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that they're like a militia, like a militia arm of the government. They're like an army. I hate all of that shit with the Avengers. They work with them sometimes. The government with the government in some kind of cases, but what do you know? And they call him Flipper, Flipper, faster than lightning. No one you see is faster than he. Sorry, I only did that because Hunger Boy says he hates Flipper. Why do you loathe Flipper? What the hell is a nice guy? Flipper's a nice fellow. And he'll clap for you. And say long and thanks for all the fish. Flipper. Come on, man. What a show that was. Well, well, well. There we go. Well, we talked some Avengers and some X-Men a little bit. Let me check the poll now. We're not leaving yet, folks. Just saying. Flipper, Flipper. Whoa. Is this race tightening or what? Which of these classic superhero teams do you like best? And now the Avengers is having its lead challenge. It's at 56%. And the X-Men's climbing back at 44%. That is weird, wild stuff. Waggle. Wow. High drama here. That's 45 votes. What happened? Weird. Everything's weird on my side of it. Okay. Where are you? Oh, there we go. There he is. What's that? Sergeant Ribbon of the Conroe. I just saw it scrolling through. Oh, that's all right. No, that's all right, dude. That's okay. That's all right, man. It's cool. It's cool. And we're not doing any kind of. I've already finished everything we were probably doing. Then we're just kind of hanging out for a little while before we get out of here, because it is a Monday night. I'm sure most of you had something to do. It's not like it was Saturday night and I didn't have to sing another Saturday night and I can't get. Never mind. Ooh, I almost used my dirty version of that song. Never mind. Where are you? Where are you? Ooh. So let's see. Avengers 1 was done in less than a week and therefore is way better than the X-Men, because creating the Avengers in less time than a week shows the greatness of Kirby. I would definitely go along with that. See, I mean, there's a lot of creativity went into the X-Men as well. But the Avengers, I don't know, man. Obviously inspired by the Justice League. Both FF was inspired by it, so they say. I always thought it was funny how they claimed that the Justice League helped Martin Goodman, cajole Jack Kirby into changing his style. Like that. Which, nah. I don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Just have some mic issues here for it, folks. In fact, I'm having microphone issues. I better take an emergency medicine right here, right now. Excuse me, folks. All right, take some snow caps. There we go. I'm doing it to you. I'm eating candy on the air, folks. And it's like a Miraculo pill. Who wants some snow caps? Who doesn't like snow caps? Kirby made the Avengers in a week, but my baby mama, Dr. Carol Marcus, made me Genesis that Matrix formed in a day. Yeah. Can she cook or can't she? I went to a movie theater today, so I got me some snow caps. The other day when I went to a movie, whatever that was, they didn't have snow caps. I was very upset. This one did, though. There you go. What in the hell are you talking about, Pat? Sorry, we're out of snow caps. All we have is Jordan almonds. Yeah. Almonds? Yuck. You're right. Yuck indeed. Let's see here. Just as long as you don't eat good and plenty's. Yeah. What? Those sound familiar, but I can't really replace what those are. It's like a Mark D with a C stream. Now I start talking about candy. So, what are good and plenty's? They sound familiar, but I can't really remember. The 90s X-Men roster was awesome, says Keely Chow. Now, interesting enough, but before I address that one, which is interesting, the FF seemed like a combination of Doom Patrol with Elastigirl, Robot Man, Negative Man, and Mento, and the Challengers of the Unknown. Well, Kirby did create the Challengers of the Unknown, and the FF, he used a lot of his that for his FF creation. Doom Patrol came way later. In fact, only a few months before this comic came out. So he Doom Patrol, if anything, is more like the FF. Good and Plenty. Or the crappy candy with Choo Choo Charlie was an engineer. Are the black and pink licorice candies that look like weird. Now, Debug likes Good and Plenty's. Uh-oh, we're going to have a candy fight here. I thought Mark D was food for enabler on your live streams. Yes, he is. Admiral Cheek, what's up, dude? Hey-o. Good to see you. No one likes Choo Choo Charlie. Well, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on I know what Choo Choos are, I think. But I'm drawing a blank on Good and Plenty's. Now, I know the name of it, but I'm not sure if I ever ate those or not. They were good and plentiful. Matthew Pounder, that is true. Lee had to have everything explained to him by Jack, especially mutants. Because Jack knew things and he didn't. Jack was a voracious reader of many things. Much literature and other things and history and all that stuff. And Stanley didn't read much of anything. And he's admitted it. I mean, it's been admitted by him before. He didn't read anything. He didn't read anything out there at all. Whether it's, maybe the newspaper, I guess, but that's about it, So, snow caps, folks. Snow caps. I haven't had snow caps in forever. So today at the movies, I said, dang it, I'm going to get me a snow cap. It's going to be expensive, but I'm not going to think about it. Oh, Keely Chow, old buddy, the X-Men that you're referring to from the Fox shows in the 90s, I just went back and rewatched that whole thing, or binged it, the whole thing. Oh, I guess last fall or whatever. So less than a year ago. I think before I never watched them all the way through, so it was kind of a treat. I hadn't seen them all. Love that. Everyone loves that, of course, that great music. We talked about this at the beginning of tonight's show. Great theme music. Great theme song. Very, very true. Very true, hungry boy. So, and I being a lot older, of course, Keely, the one thing I was not happy with the roster on that show. Not entirely. Of course, I love Cyclops. He's my favorite. My favorite. Claude Salling. Hey there. Now you can go back on rewatch Dan versus Clobby on the hub. I don't know what that means, badass. Dan versus Clobby. Dan? I'm stumped, but I'm just dumb, so just bear with me. So, all right. Your roster on the 90s X-Men cartoon. Obviously, Professor X, sure. Wolverine's too popular. You're going to have Wolverine whether you like him. And I like Wolverine fine. I'm just saying. So, yeah. Cyclops. Yes, because I love Cyclops. Storm, fantastic. Beast. Yep, love Beast. Who else was it? They got Jean Grey's fine to be there because we didn't know what they were. That Marvel didn't know what they were going to do with Jean Grey. I mean, she was Marvel Girl, and she was Phoenix, and then she was Jean Grey. So they just call her by a real name, Jean Grey. She didn't even have any kind of a superhero type name anymore. But by God, I hate Gambit and I hate Jubilee. You should have had Kitty Pryde, who did turn up on the show once, I think. And should have had Colossus, not Gambit, not Jubilee. And Nightcrawler. They all appeared at one point, but as a regular, wide in the... Oh, they had Rogue, too. Rogue, that's fine. Rogue is fine. But I hate Gambit, and I hate Jubilee. Add one person, Colossus, and replace the other two, Nightcrawler and Kitty Pryde, and then would be fantastic. Even though they would be X-Men. It would be uncanny. That said, you put up with things, and it's fine. I watched it. Hey, Fiona. All the Southern X-Men are messes. Good to see you, Fiona, my dear. So, personally, again, the cartoon had some hits and misses. And again, it was just recently since I watched them all again. They were... Thomas says, Thomas Bartaldi, hello. Hey there. Good to see you, Thomas. And I love Beast. Beast is I love Hank McCoy. They had a lot of hit or miss. They had some really good episodes. Some other ones where they adapted stories and truncated them and messed around with them a little bit to the point where it really aggravated me. All in all, it was a fun watch. But there were some really crappy episodes. Steven, what did I think of the Morph character? Morph, I wasn't a big Morph. I'm glad they kind of phased him out early on, and later they popped up. He came back for a minute, popped up, whatever. I wanted to see more Nightcrawler and Colossus. I get tired of, and I really got really tired of seeing all that future time travel crap that was done. We got to understand something. Like I said earlier at the outset of the show, Fantastic Four, my favorite thing in Marvel. I loved Avengers and a lot of other things. I like X-Men fine, but it was when there were good runs on it, great. But I'm not an X-Men fanatic. I dumped X-Men like a hot potato in 1984 or whatever, when the book just got too much of the Claremont soap opera stuff for me. But it still stayed super popular, obviously, and a lot of people like it. That's it's all fine and good. So I checked out for a long time when this cartoon came on. I was watching it a little bit, but I was already done as an X-Men reader. That just never was a big deal to me. X-Men Pride of the X-Men was the pilot for the cartoon. Well, Pride of the X-Men was the first pilot that didn't sell. And interesting enough, there's a link in my description below to a retro blasting video that I did with my good buddy, retro blasting pal Michael French, about the Pride of the X-Men cartoon and video game. I guess we did it a couple years back. If you go check that out, you can learn a lot about the Pride of the X-Men pilot, which was the first one. And then later they came back with the new series. Yeah, I left after Byrne left. I kind of didn't care for it much anymore. So, like I said, the cartoon, they had a lot of things they got wrong. There were some good ones. I think they ran too far. And remember that last season, they really started farming that out to some crappy animation companies. Boy, Lord, some of those last episodes of the X-Men cartoon, it went on way too long. Had some horrifically bad animation. But there was some good ones. Oh, it was a fun watch. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. And again, I love that theme song. Better than the crap we get today. And like I said, for the 50th time, I'm binging Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And it's just it's like comfort food for the soul, except it didn't last long enough. But what a great cartoon. With an exception or a bump here and there. There's even some problems there. So JT Kirk says, do you think the Blue Beetle has any chance of success at the box office? And will it be anything like the comic Blue Beetle? I'm going to say that's very tiny chance, a very little chance. I'm not going to say I won't say none. But here's your problem. Let's just say, JT, that the movie's actually decent, because it can happen. I like the kid playing him. I'm a big fan of Cobra Kai. I think that kid, Zolo, I can't say his name very well. I meant Mudry or whatever. That's perfect choice. I don't really care much for this iteration of Blue Beetle. I'm a Ted Kord guy. But on Batman Brave and the Bold, the most wonderful cartoon ever made, they made me like Jaime enough to where I can get behind him. And he's okay. So in a good movie, I think he can be fine. The movie might be okay. It looks fun enough. But these idiots, you got to stop antagonizing fans, because so they stick this stupid line in there by that idiot moron, unfunny jackass George Lopez, with the line in the trailer that you all heard. It says Batman is a fascist. In the line, and it's in the trailer. Now, as I've said many times, we don't know the context of the line. In the normal context of the movie, it's probably someone saying something stupid. Sean Carter, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. And you could probably get past it if it were something that was, innocuous and they were making fun of the character. But you don't put that in the trailer, for God's sake. Nicholas Horton. Hey, boy, it's an honor to see you. I don't think I've seen you here before, my friend. He says, Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon was good. Ended too soon, only after 2 seasons because of Disney. Disney ruined it. I'll get back to Blue Beetle in a second there, buddy. But yes, Nicholas, they did. It was a tragedy. I hated the last episode of Earth's Mightiest Heroes for Geek Boy reasons, but I still wanted it to come back. And what happened was the movie was coming out, the first movie, which I love, and these moron, idiot jackasses decided they wanted a cartoon that looked more like the goddamn movie. Well, I wanted a continuation of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and that cost us. So the movie, which I loved, cost us more. Cost us a chance to get more Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and it was replaced by that piece of shit Avengers Assemble, which was a piece of dog crap in my opinion. Fucking hate it. Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry. I cussed. But I really hate that goddamn cartoon. But yeah, like Steven said, in the Blue Beetle thing, they lost me with that line about Batman in the trailer. I'll wait until it comes on streaming service. So right there, the trailer, off on the wrong foot. You're trying to shoot your movie in the foot before you even come out. And then The director of the movie came out and laughed about it, alienating people, attacking and antagonizing your audience. That's why I think even if the Blue Beetle is a decent movie and enjoyable enough, which I'm very skeptical about, but I'm being fair. Word of mouth is going to kill it because they already started poisoning the pill. Sticking a poison pill in the pool. And they're poisoning it and making it tough. Like a few people don't know about that stupid trailer and they go watch it and say, hey, it's pretty good. Word of mouth is still going to probably kill it. I mean, it just sucks. So the answer about Blue Beetle is, I think even if it's a decent movie, which again is a stretch probably, but it can happen. Even if it's a decent movie, I don't think it's going to do super well. It'd have to be a sleeper hit for that. But they've already woke everybody up to say, hey, look, don't come watch our movie because we're idiots antagonizing fans. Yeah, Frank Miller has some blame there of Keely Chow, but that was a long time ago. You're not wrong about that with Frank Miller, but still. But it's not just him. It was happening before Frank Miller as far as people calling Batman that, and it was ridiculous. Let's see here. All right. It's a shame, too. That kid from Cobra Kai is really good. Yeah, he is. I was actually going to give it a chance in the theater until I saw that trailer for it. But you know what? I respect you. I hear you. RJ, maybe Snyder, maybe Lopez is thinking about Snyderverse Batman. Yeah. Well, he is. That's for sure. Does apply, right? He says, no chance it won't be like Blue Beetle and Batman, the Brave and the Bold. It might be like that. I mean, I never read any of Jaime's comics because I wasn't reading DC at the time. And then they had Maxwell Lord murder Ted Kord. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to read this shit. Screw them. So they did it just so they could replace him with Jaime Reyes, the character of Blue Beetle. So I'd never had any interest in reading that comic, so I never read that comic book. I wasn't reading a lot of DCs at that time. They can go screw themselves when they do that some way. When they do that just to bring in somebody else so they can do their little agenda crap, they can go to hell. But the first episode of Batman Brave and the Bold is Batman and Blue Beetle. And I remember watching that going, when it first came on, I didn't think the show was going to be any good. And I see him with him, I'm like, oh, God, I can't stand that kid. I mean, I said, I don't want to see that kid. I want to see Batman with somebody else. Watched the episode. The kid was kind of good at it. I thought Jaime was okay. And I watched later episodes where Jaime was in them, and he was pretty good. They made me sort of like the character. I mean, again, he's not Ted, but they did something interesting with him, weaving his story in with Ted. And I thought, okay. I mean, I'm not going to read his comics because I don't care about modern comics that much, but I thought Jaime was okay on there. And RJ says, might be more like the Young Justice Blue Beetle. Probably. And I watched the first season of Young Justice and thought it looked cool, that great animation, but it wasn't really my bag too much. So, and again, they got really, really preachy later. And so, hey, look who's here. What's that?
Hello, everyone. Hey, I snuck in late.
Not hearing you well, but let me turn my thing up.
Can everyone hear me okay? Hopefully my mic's not messed up.
It might be my, hang on. Might be my mic. I don't know, or my headphones. What about now?
Well, hopefully everyone can hear me hear me now.
Yeah,
yep.
I think you sound okay.
Yep. Hi, Matthew. Yep. Okay.
Fiona says, the thing about Blue Beetle, I'm okay with the crazy uncle, but it looks like yet another generic bland story, Shazam type story 10 years ago. It would have great now. Why bother? Yeah, I'm with you. And they're going for they just want to catch fire with something that they thought maybe if they bring in a likable actor with a character that's not well known, you never know. It's either going to disappear. Iron Man wasn't all that well known either. When they hit gold with that, they're trying to throw something at the wall. but they don't help themselves with their bad press that they create for themselves. And yeah, Nicholas Horton says Evolution is my first X-Men major X-Men cartoon to watch. Fourth season was my favorite with Apocalypse and the Big Red. But I'm not big into that animation style personally. But I've heard people like it, Nicholas, and some people have liked that one. So I hear you. So anyone, if you're an X-Men fan and you haven't checked that out, look at Pat S with his smartiness.
Pat S, I'm not perfect. Just ask my wife.
Sounds okay, but not perfect. That's fair enough.
Oh, Pat S, I'm too honest. I was down tonight. I was down a bunch of modern comic books.
You what?
Neighborhood poker game tonight. So that's why
okay.
I was. Yeah. So no, I did not win. I cannot tell a lie. It was fun though. It was fun. Yep. Always good hanging out with the guys. So
all that matters. Ravenscroft says, I liked Batman Year One. Never read All Star, but I got to tell you, I love Batman Year One in spite of some of the things that Miller did to the continuity, like with Batgirl and stuff. But I will, All Star Batman to me is pure filth. I was only able to read a couple of the early ones. I see that Frank Miller's insane. It's bad, man.
So bad. That's so bad. The art. That's quietly on the art, isn't it? Or no, is it all Miller?
No, that's Miss Jim Lee.
Oh, okay. But yeah, whatever that Batman All-Star was just horrendous. It was so poorly written. Didn't it only last like 7 issues and they canceled it, or 8 issues? I'm trying to remember the
True Fiona. What? They didn't finish it.
They didn't finish it, right? It was so poorly received, yeah. And doesn't he slap Robin or bash Robin in that one?
He slaps people around. Wait, Keeley says All-Star Batman and Robin takes place in the same universe as the Dark Knight Returns. I don't think so, because Batman is pure evil in this thing. He's an asshole. He abuses Robin and Alfred. There was no indication that yes, he was 10 years later and he was old and cranky Bruce Wayne in Miller's Dark Knight. I don't think there was any indication that he was an abusive sack of garbage, was there?
No, not in the.
I mean, I don't know if that's true or not true because I hated it so much I didn't stick with it to find out. So I don't know though. I have a lot of problems with Miller's Dark Knight Returns. I'm a very kind of a critic of it, but that would have been one of my criticisms. Mostly, it takes too long. One day we'll pull it to pieces. RJ Godzilla says, Young Justice season 1 and 2 I think are pretty good. But season 3, I agree, got too preachy and changed Aqualad to being gay and out of nowhere just to line up with the comics version. Made no sense. Yeah, of course.
And you're talking about Blue Beetle before, and I did buy, I think, most of that initial run, and it was pretty darn good. You said you didn't read the comics.
Nah.
But they were trying to cash in on a Spider-Man-esque type, teenager gets powers, and it was pretty well written. It was pretty good. I dropped out after a while, unlike some other books that I'm still collecting that I got in the mail today. But yeah,
you got stuff today.
Yeah, I got stuff today. If you want to see it after.
Well, everybody. Before we get out of here, I guess we could have our special Monday Night Mark C Comics where we it's kind of a tradition here at Mark C where we make fun of Mark D's new comic purchases. This is a special segment you're always waiting for, folks. When Mark D shows us his putrid new comic books that he buys, and we make fun of them. Get ready, brother. Get your making fun of Mark D shoes on.
Well, there are actually a couple of gooders in here, as Raquel would say, but you'll see why in the
story.
There are.
Right.
There are, but you'll see why in a second. And you know why? You can already.
I know why, because they're facsimiles. I know about the facsimiles.
Yeah.
The animated series, Batman Future.
Can't.
Nicholas Horton says, Batman animated series and Batman of the Future Justice League cartoon. Teen Titans. Why can't DC make good animated shows like this anymore? Well, I think they can. They're just not willing to, Nicholas. In my opinion, they're just not willing to. But once in a while, man, one maybe might slip through, but not lately. Didn't realize they were still making comics. Well, that's almost debatable. There we go. All right, everybody. At his own peril, he will show you these things.
At my own peril, I'm going to show you these. Here, let me put the rack up.
New purchases for Mark D. with the C, the chief engineer.
I was getting set up to do a video for Indy. Oh, I don't want to
For who?
mess that. Oh, I don't want to mess this up. This is a. Well, here, let me show this, and I'll put this out of the way because this is
Nice.
So this is actually an Indiana Jones promotion that my dad's friend, God rest his soul, and cancer, because both of my dad and him died of cancer. But I'll just briefly read the note that he, like, just paraphrase it. But I'll get it. Yeah. So he saw that my dad had some Indiana. Oh, God damn it, Mark! Push the button. I pushed the camera button. Jeez. God, you try to do a segment and then let me turn it back on again. Sorry about that, everyone.
No problem.
I was trying to move the camera. And
You're the engineer around here. Now you're an engineer.
Yeah. So I don't want to show his name, but I'll read. My dad's friend, he saw the Mr. Potato Head that I showed the other. He saw this in our office, so he's like, "Oh, I know you like Indiana Jones."
Yes.
So he
Potato
said,
Head.
Let's see, where did he got this? Okay, it's a CBS promotional copy, stamp on back of album cover, which was given out at the Dallas Theater in 1981 to the first 100 attendees that day. Raiders of the Lost Ark opened. I recall it was by far the most amazing or special movie anyone had ever seen at that time. I still think it's pretty good. Anyway, give it to Mark, Ron, and God bless Ron because he passed away from cancer last year. And
Matthew, I think that's not Dave Dorman. I think it's Bob Peak, isn't it? Matt, hey, look who's here. MMM's here. F Cancer indeed.
Hey,
Masters Maniac Mexico. Good to see you, buddy.
Great
it's either
to
Bob
see you.
Peak or Ansel Adams, but I think that's Bob Peak.
So sorry about the shakiness, but see, promotional only. Sale is unlawful. So I don't know if this is worth anything, but that's a great memory on that note. And of course,
Although Dave Dorman is really good, though, Matthew. And I know him actually personally. He's a nice guy.
So let's see what the vinyl looks like. I've had this in an album. Excuse me. I don't want to touch the vinyl. I've had this. I have this framed and up.
Is it Ansel? Okay, it's Ansel. Hungry. And it was one of him or the other. Ansel Adams was great.
Yeah, so for you youngins, this was how you used to listen to music back in the day. With these big wax discs.
Yep. Well, I had the vinyl of that.
Yeah, so I don't know, promotional copies it's just a cool story, so let me get this back in here without messing up the cover. Oh, there's no sleeve on this. There's a sleeve. Okay. Is there anything written on the sleeve?
You hang in there, MMM.
Yes, for sure. Yep.
Yeah, you stay with us, brother.
Sorry about this, guys. I'm trying to get this put away safely. I want to make sure it's
Richard Ansel.
Nice.
Oh, not Ansel Adams. I always get those guys confused.
Talking the photographer. The photographer.
No, I'm talking about the art. The art.
The art. Yeah.
Richard Ansel. Now I'm really confused. That's okay. I say that way.
All right, I just want to put this somewhere safe so I don't mess it up.
Just throw it anywhere. Right, it could be fun.
Yeah. All right. These
Oh my God! Look at he buys modern comics.
So Hungry Boy.
Sorry.
It's okay. So Hungry Boy, avert your eyes.
Hungry Boy, this is for you, buddy.
This is just for Hungry Boy.
Look at these new comics. Crispy comics. Because you need to. They can't just call it Thor.
Number 1.
The Immortal Thor, folks.
Well, that's coming up. This is a prelude. This is exclusive prologue.
Wow. We have to remind everybody he's immortal now.
Yep.
Another number one, huh?
Yep,
That's
annual number one. Yep, that's not bad.
Eh,
That's all right. That's Star Wars number 36. I could live with that one.
yeah.
Now this
All
one,
right. This is a facsimile, and it's
Herb
cool.
Trimpe.
Herb Trimpe. Rhymes with
So
Trimpe.
very cool.
Love it. I need to get that one. It's probably gone already. I got to go look for some facsimiles.
Now I do actually own Hulk 180. I can't find it though.
Uh-oh.
And then
See,
in my long boxes,
that's
which is
the
a problem.
sort of first appearance of Wolverine. He's in one panel in the last page.
Yep. Let me break it open and show people because maybe most people here have probably seen this.
And
but-
yet 181 is considered the real first full appearance. Yet, because his visage is on the last page.
Now, in recent years, 180 has skyrocketed in value,
Yeah, just because of one damn picture.
and people are somewhat coming around to thinking that this 180 is really the first appearance.
Well,
I mean, it's kind of like a
It's the first time he's been seen. So,
yeah. So I consider 180 the first one, which I own
what you own?
somewhere. It's in
There
one
he
of my
is, right
boxes
there.
somewhere.
In one panel.
Yep. If you really want to tangle with someone, why not try your luck against the Wolverine?
The Wolverine.
Well, now that you know who Weapon X is, Faithful One, here's a living, raging powerhouse who's bound to knock you back on your emerald posterior.
Wow.
Nice paper. Yeah, it wasn't the original paper. Look at that. I love the ads, right? But yeah, so that's...
That Thor comic means that Thor comics I won't be eating means this is Hungry Boy. I won't be eating my lunch late or my late lunch. Sorry. Wow, we're good for you, aren't we? We're good for his weight loss.
Lose weight, yeah.
Well, after the what the MCU did to Thor by making him a clown, maybe a reset, even the comics is warranted. Says Kal-El. Let me see something here. Masters. MM says, I have to admit the last round of surgery has changed me as a person. I don't feel like myself anymore. All sarcasm seems to be gone, replaced by remorse and the strong will to do good. Can't explain. Hey, just hang in there, buddy. Maintain yourself. And I mean, just hang on to yourself. And I'm glad you have that desire to do good. Keep the spirits up. I wish I could do something. I wish I could do something to help, or at least just help your spirits, MMM. And I'm sorry, but I know there's only so much any of us could do for anybody, but still, man, we out here, we're just pulling for you, man. And I guess that's all we can really do when it comes down to it. And look, you can look at these really cool old comic book ads. See, that's for those unfamiliar. This facsimile. These comics are like reproductions of the original comic from whatever year it is, and they other than the price tag, it's showing you all the ads and all that stuff. And I just love that Herb Trimpe art.
Yeah, he's fantastic, yeah. And I actually I've shown it before, but I have the Hulk issue 181. Let me see, is it right here? I have it signed by Trimpe. Just the cover. But these are a lot of fun. It's $4. I think these are selling. I love those things.
They are selling because they're real comics people like. I think that's a great cover, man. I always loved that cover.
Fantastic. My copy is trash. Last time I saw it. Of
course, they get old. Man, I hear you.
But the story
Nicholas Horton said, "Did you see the leaked images of Hugh Jackman in the proper Wolverine costume? Did you think is that true? What I saw? It's a weird looking yellow thing he's wearing. Did you see that?
Oh, they have him in Deadpool. They have him in the real costume.
They're shooting Deadpool now.
Well, that'd be amazing.
I saw something. I don't know what I was looking at though. But anyway, go ahead. You were saying something about that story. I forgot.
Well, no, that's all right. But we'd bought neighborhood comics from a kid, and I've told this story before. But we're going around in a circle, like you get one, and he had all his comics in order. So I got 180, and my friend next door got 181, and I didn't know it was like a 10-year-old kid, and back then I didn't know it was a Wolverine first appearance. How would you know that, right? But then years later, I'm like, oh wait, you still have Hulk 181, right? That's worth a shit ton of money now because it was the first appearance of Wolverine. It's like my mom threw out all my comics, all my albums, everything when I came back from college and wouldn't move the stuff back out. So all his baseball cards,
and his mom or his aunt worked for WPLJ in New York City, 95.5, which is a massive, album-oriented rock, and he had all these posters, and he had, I don't know if anyone remembers, the King Biscuit Flower Hour, which was like a midnight special show, and his aunt had given him like all the shows on vinyl, and they were so cool to have, like, back then, have the radio show. She threw them all out. I was like, oh no. So here we go. Dawn of DC, Deadly Alliance, Lois and Clark 2. Bonus feature. Steel, Engineer of Tomorrow. So I don't know what you guys think of that one, but
Weird.
that's
All
weird.
right, 1 second here. I can answer this question for you, RG, but it's going to be a very biased answer. So which Hulk rival do you like better? Hulk versus Thor, Hulk versus Wolverine, or Hulk versus the Thing? Well, you got two very biased individuals here
Yeah.
that say Hulk Thing is the greatest. It's
Yeah.
not even close. Not even close. And the other ones are fine. I like Hulk Thor. Hulk Wolverine doesn't matter to me at all. But Hulk Thingy, Hulk Benjamin Grimm, that's where it's at.
That's for sure. Yep. Clobberin. Yep. Of course, then you have Hulk fighting the Wolverine, and he rips him in half, then eats him. That's not so classic. This is kind of interesting. I think it's not a bad cover. Maybe I'm just setting my bar too low, but that's not bad.
Nah.
It's a little dark to see what's going on with the.
Don't worry,
It's not bad.
we'll show those stupid costumes when we go.
Okay, now
That's
Hungry
how it's
Boy.
nice in this picture. Hungry Boy, this is for you.
Oh, this is for now. This Doc Ock is probably the best Doc Ock I've ever seen. I think he makes Toad look good.
Looks
right?
like Toad. He does look
Look
like
at
Toad.
that. Doesn't it look like Toad? Isn't that horrendous? Oh
That's
my
awful.
God. This is awful. I mean, the Spidey's not bad. I mean, but
In this case, it's not the art. It doesn't look like Doc Ock.
yeah. That's horrible. They made him like a short little guy. And it's too cartoony. I just don't like the style at all. So that's a big time fail. Then everyone remembers the Sunday Morning Adventures, Dungeons and Dragons, and the movie was half decent. The movie had a cameo by these guys. It's like, why don't you make the movie about the classic Dungeons and Dragons characters from the cartoon? So there's the Cavalier, Bobby. I only have bought Bobby and Uni, the action figures. I gotta buy everyone else now. But this is a great. I love this show. So. Hungry versus Call the Medics. So, and then we get some more good Thor stuff. Thor 35, we go with the annual. I'm really not liking this. What do you guys think? This is very not appetizing for a cover. And it's does this say buy me off the shelf? I'm thinking not, right? Yeah.
Matt, MMM, I don't even thank you, sir. I'm glad. I'm honored for you to say that. It says here always check your viewers list, even if it's only lurking, but I'm almost always. I hear you. In a couple of days, it'll be 1 year. Thank you. Thanks for all of you. Well, thank you for being here, my friend. Everyone here,
God bless you.
You're part of the family here, brother. We love you, man, and hang in there for us, MMM. But more importantly, hang in for yourself. But we're right there with you, brother. This keeps coming out too quick.
O'Brien is saying this would be a good heavy metal cover. Yeah, I guess for like a heavy metal cover. JT Kirk says I'm not a fan. Yep.
Yeah.
And here's this is an icky cover
Ugh.
of our buddy. Yep.
Nobody's in there with him this time.
Who is
this
that?
like an
Who's
ongoing
that?
series?
I think no. I think it's a limited series. I think this is the last one.
So.
That's fine. I'll open it up and check. It's just the way they always have Ben like losing his rock. Don't bother.
Yeah.
Losing his rocks or
getting his rocks off is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bum. You said it, not me. It's just horrible. I mean, I guess the face is not even good.
Yeah, it sucks. Is what you're trying to say, I think.
Yes, you're trying to think that's
I believe what you're trying to articulate is that this cover so bloody sucks, bloody Dogs from hell is what you're saying. Yes, yes.
Yeah, we had
They
two good covers there.
boy. It sucks. This is nice because it's a facsimile again.
Yep.
Nice.
$3.99. And of course, spoiler alert, but Gwen Stacy dies. Well, technically, she dies in 121, I guess, right?
Yeah, she died in the issue before, right?
121,
then,
yeah. So he says,
now he's ready to kick its ass. Huh?
"You murdered the only girl I ever loved."
Okay, Brian says it's a 5-issue one. Thank you. Glad it's over.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I thought it was 5-issue. Yep. Goblin's Last Stand. Yep. What an amazing cover that is. And that was tragic. I mean, that was just unbelievable. You know, of course, that was before my time, but, you know, they killed off a major, major character. So, of course, they brought Gwen Stacy back to life multiple times now, and she's Spider-Gwen and from another universe. So, there's all kinds of other universes into the Spider-Verse. But,
Hungry Boy.
yeah, what did Hungry Boy say? Damn
Baldrick
it, Mark.
through that came cover. He said Baldrick through that thing cover. Fiona said that cover looks like a bad imitation of Jack Kirby's Space Effects, but pink. Yeah. Very bad. Yeah.
That's a good description of that. Yeah. Yeah. Look how easy to follow this cover is. It tells the story. Like, what story is this cover telling? I mean, there's nothing. It's nothing.
It's just a nothing burger compared to this one. It's telling you a whole lot.
I guess that could be a heavy metal cover. Yeah, I could see that. This one's not great art, but at least you got characters fighting. I mean, this is just horrendous.
An old Spider-Man comic, a real Spider-Man comic, and a new Spider-Man.
Detective, I mean, this is all right, but it doesn't jump out at you. This is just kind of weird. Is that supposed to be Brainiac on there? Who's that supposed to be on this cover? I don't know.
Photos features Lois and Clark. Everything's about Lois.
Yeah, well. Yeah, look at just the style. Just look at the style of these two. These pop.
Oh, the Bronze Age covers.
These comics. This is how they pop. Boom! I'm on this. I'm a kid. What am I going to buy on the shelf? What am I going to gravitate to?
Well,
Boom,
if you're a psycho, a future psycho, you're going to buy that stupid Action Comics and the Batman one. But yeah.
I mean, it's just the colors. It's bright. I mean, as depressing as this comic is, it still says "Buy me." I mean, just the logo and it's just so good. I mean, this is, man, this is mediocre. You know, it's like comparing Da Vinci to a kid in kindergarten doing finger painting. Which one are you buying? Sorry, Hungry Boy. I mean,
we know who Hungry Boy is going to buy every time.
Yeah. So I apologize for showing the Thor cover again. Let's put the two good ones.
Put the two good ones on there. Yeah, put the ones that matter. You want to see the picture of Wolverine?
I definitely do. Yeah. Well, didn't they show his costume at the very end of the last movie on the plane? Was that the last movie where they showed his costume?
I don't remember. I think so.
When in the suitcase, and they had his real costume there.
I guess.
I think. Oh, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Considering all things considered, I think that's.
I'd buy that for $1. I mean, the color, the
I
yellow's
guess so.
a little off, but I mean,
well, it's kind of yellowy like he's supposed to be.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
at least you're finally getting him in the damn costume for the first time. This is
not the original yellow one either, but it's close. I mean,
they're going dark instead of the blue, but
it's a deleted scene from the Wolverine. What's a deleted scene from the Wolverine? Kyle Grimion, what's up, buddy? What's good to see you, man? Wait a minute. What is RJ? Is that when you say a deleted scene from the Wolverine? Which one you talking about? I think I've seen something like that from the Wolverine, but
the last movie,
the movie The Wolverine. But I'm not sure if he's referring to this picture. He's talking about something else.
Okay,
he's talking about something you were talking. So that's where we see Wolverine costume. But he's talking. What I'm saying is, RJ.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, RJ. Yeah.
What you were talking about.
Yeah, about when you see the costume. Okay, that was because I own the Blu-ray, so that was a deleted scene. Yeah, when he opens up and you see the costume with the helmet. and everything in the case. Thank you.
Right.
I was trying to remember. Yeah.
Cool, Kyle. Good to see you there, brother. Miss you, man. Hope you're doing good. So yeah, that's what I say. See, I've always liked the yellow or even the brown Wolverine costume. At least it's a freaking costume. This I don't mind too much. I mean, if the movie's fine, whatever. I'm one of the few that doesn't even hate Deadpool 2, but obviously the first one's better, I guess. But point is,
Deadpool 2 was funny.
Not really excited about it either. I mean, it's like, yeah, if they're okay, I'll watch them. It's better than, but these movies
it's gonna be better than the Marvels.
Yeah, the Marvels. That movie you're going to go see that I'm not going to go see. Let me check our poll here and close the poll out. Ready then. All right. Tonight's poll, of course, was
brought to you by Good Comics.
Where? Good Comics. Where?
Facsimile editions.
Wait a minute. Where are you? I lost it. I closed it now. Because my chat wasn't. Oh, there it is. All right. Okay. All right. For everyone, I don't get a vote, but. So the question was, which of these classic superhero teams do you like best? Out of the Avengers and the X-Men, of course. Man, you know what? There was at one point, it was like 60-something% to 30-something%, but now it tightened up pretty well, but the Avengers maintained their lead through the end from 56 votes. The Avengers wins with 55%. And then the X-Men gets a respectable 44%. So that's not bad. Thank you all who voted and participated. My vote would go to the Avengers. What did you vote for? You could tell us.
I just explained my vote. I think I'm trying to remember. Did I vote? I voted Avengers, but I have to say the original X-Men, reading those when they first came out, that Byrne run. Well, before that, of course, who was the artist before Byrne?
Dave Cockrum.
Cockrum, thank you. Yeah, I mean, reading those as a kid in the 70s, you couldn't wait until those comics came out, and it wasn't the same for Avengers. But then Claremont went off the rails. Good night, Nicholas.
Good night, Nicholas.
Thanks for hanging.
Go off the rails, yeah.
The story-wise, I mean, I think I own every X-Men up to 250 or 350 or something. And I just can't take it anymore. So I have to say, like, those up to 150-ish, 160, 180, just that first, from 94 up to there, just some of the best comics, especially that first 24 issue run. It was just so phenomenal. But I think overall the Avengers have been had a much better run. Of course, today it's not saying much in terms of modern comics, but there's just nothing like those 70s X-Men being around at that time. It was just everyone was talking about it. It was just such a huge hit, and what a revitalization. That's how you reboot something, right? You it's not even a real reboot. It's a continuation with obviously some of the same characters, but just tweaking it a little bit and coming up with a character of Wolverine, Nightcrawler, some of those new characters, just brilliant. Oh, just so good.
Well, Fiona says for a comic book accurate costume to work in a movie, you have to make everything that same palette. See what you want. Oh, excuse me. I think you mean say what you want about Dick Tracy, but it definitely had a distinctive style. It's all or nothing. I did love the way that looked. My only problem with Dick Tracy, because I absolutely 100% agree with what you just said. My problem with Dick Tracy was here you have Warren Beatty goes out of his way to make all the villains look just like they popped off the comic strip page by Chester Gould. They all looked like him. He went to their crazy head, flat top and prune face and all these characters. And the one guy, but he didn't make himself look like the Dick Tracy from the comic strip. He just looked like a normal dude. In other words, he looked normal. He didn't look like Dick Tracy from the strip that everyone else did. So it's like, what? And because he didn't feel like doing it. Maybe he thought it wouldn't look good on the lead character. I don't know. I think that's crap. So even he didn't go all in. If you think about it, I don't know. It's still an okay movie, and I like it. I love his design. And the way it looks, it's pretty cool. What?
I was gonna say, yeah, he still owns the rights to the character, so he went on screen and did an interview. He's got to keep
As Dick
producing
Tracy.
as Dick Tracy. Remember that? Was that an interview show or something? He just went on as Dick Tracy to keep the rights. It's like,
keep the
come
rights.
on.
But why?
Just
If you don't want, if you're not going to do anything with them.
Yeah, it was so ridiculous. It's like, just give up the rights then if let someone else make it, or make, doesn't make sense, because I guess
I do
maybe
like the
he can
movie.
sell them someday.
It was sort of okay, but my problem is him and that he had to put stupid Madonna in it.
Wasn't he dating her at the time?
Yes. Why do you think he put her in it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, yeah.
He said, Betty has an ego thing with Dick Tracy. Beatty has an ego. He's not willing to give up the rights. True. Yeah. I remember when that movie came out, which I had my comic shop, and they had the special night preview. I was able, you had to buy you could buy a T-shirt, and that was your ticket. That's like a form, and
that's cool.
That was acted as your T-shirt. Your Dick Tracy T-shirt acted as a ticket. I wish I still had that shirt. So yeah,
that's very cool. Yeah.
The Wolverine costume in Deadpool 3 looks like it's going for the Astonishing X-Men costume, but yes, it does. But I was more of a fan of the Tiger Stripe from the 90s animated. I never liked the brown one. I never was big on the brown one either, RJ. I mean, it's better than some later stuff, but yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, I know people think yellow is silly, and maybe in real life it's silly to some people, but didn't seem to, nobody seemed to say that to his face when he was wearing it in the comics, though, did they?
Yep.
Yeah. That same ego wouldn't let him hide his face. Indeed, Fiona.
Yeah. Well, he did have a pretty good face. Yep.
Imagine
allegedly
that
song "You're So Vain" is allegedly written about him, but
imagine if he made his face look like Dick Tracy in the comic. I granted it would be weird looking, but I would have liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. Someone just messaged me. Yeah. All the Indiana Jones figures are half price now.
Oh yeah. I've been hearing about that. I need to go to Walmart and try to grab some cheap ones. I don't have an Indiana Jones figure, so I might want to go at least get one if it's from Raiders.
Yeah.
Not from the new trash movie, but from Raiders or something.
Yeah, they do have Raiders. Yeah. Yeah. Although Retrobuster was saying how bad the figures were, unfortunately. But
yeah,
at least you have it in the card. But
if you get it half price, if you just, I'm just saying he's right, but I don't have one at all.
Though. Yeah,
so I wouldn't mind having at least one.
Yeah,
for
$6.
$6. Right? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, they have those, but they have the big size, the quote unquote dolls, or I've seen some of those out there too. I got.
Yeah, like the 12-inch one I have was showing, right?
Yeah, I think Claude sent me a picture yesterday of one.
Yeah, he got one, right? Yeah.
He was at yeah, it's a big it's a figure. It's a big stand-up figure with a button press thingy.
Yes, I saw that. Yep. Well, this is where's my I'm gonna be away from the mic for a second, but
yeah. Oh well. Good night, D Bud. Take it easy, buddy. Have a good one. What's that one there?
This is the sorry, with the light. Come on.
Tuxedo Indy from Temple of Doom Collector one that looks good, says Admiral Teeks. That'd be a good one to get. Oh, that's the one. When did you get that one?
Let me change my mic here. Oh. I got that one probably 10 years. Well, that's 2008.
That's right. You got it back when the Crystal Numbskull came out.
Yeah. Yep. So and they had that.
I have a video of one. I was going to do a video of this one, but I should have gotten the Cairo Swordsman. But I have this Indiana Talking Indy, and I didn't get Mutt. I should have gotten Mutt too. But they had 4 of these, big figures. They're pretty nice, darn nice figures, of course. But there's no jacket. And it's like, where's this jacket?
Wow, man. Yeah.
It's like, come on.
That suckle.
So that's good. And then you know what I did? Retroblasting enabled me. So I bought 2 of these. But then he had a video with 4 of them. So he did a video where you got the escape.
I
so
see.
I bought 2 of them. Yeah, the Lego
nice.
set. but he combined the two together. So I've been enabled. So I got two of them. So
You're
I got
full
to
screen
follow
now.
his video. Thank you.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
So and then see, so Retro Blasting did a really cool video where using two sets he did 4 pillars, and I think he added in his latest video or one of the next video, I think he took 4 sets and added a top to it and just like went all out.
Nice.
So I gotta at least do the 2 one, and then maybe I can always upgrade to the 4. But yeah, so he enabled me. But looks like a fun
He
project.
does some amazing stuff.
Yeah, here's the Indy full screen. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's looking good there, Indy. But yeah, sorry, Indy, your new movie's not doing well. It's a shame.
Aw.
Yep. But
Well,
yeah, what are you gonna
what can
do?
you do?
Yep.
That's right. What you gonna do? Oh dear, oh dear. Well, that's cool. Thanks for showing us that in the comics and stuff like that. I want to thank everyone for being here with us tonight. I'll do. Like I said, I have a lot more planned for the Avengers and the X-Men 60th anniversary in August. As everyone knows, August is Jack Kirby month around here. Every single bit of it. And I try to make it a little bit different each one, but all Kirby, different Kirby stuff. And I think since it's the 60th anniversary of such important characters as the X-Men and the Avengers and others, other Kirby moments, I'm going to definitely dedicate some shows to more shows to his Avengers and his X-Men stuff. But this month, 60 years ago, actually July the 2nd, 60 years ago, that week of July. So in other words, last week, 60 years ago, these 2 comics were on the racks. And I showed you, of course, for those who were earlier, I showed all the other comics that came out on the racks that week, and all the other, what the fun comic book industry was like back then. And I enjoyed doing that with y'all. I hope you enjoyed it at least a little bit. And more importantly, it's so much fun hanging out with all of you. You're all just amazing to hang out with. What a great crowd we have. Great geeking out here. And it's just amazing. Well, Fiona's got one more thing. It says, not only do they make yellow works, they looked good doing it. It's all about the production design. The costumes don't seem to interact with the people doing the rest of the production. Yes. Well, indeed, of course. Well said as always, Fiona there. And so before I do my show notes and shout outs, anything else anything you got to lay on us here, Marker? I know you guys aren't doing. Oh, you are doing Toxic Tuesday tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, that's right. Toxic Tuesday. We're doing Invasion USA. Yep. I got to double check with Nick, but I'm pretty sure we're on for.
He said
I'm assuming we're on for. We took a week off. Yeah, we took 4th of July off. So, yeah, looking forard to Invasion USA. Chuck.
What else you got?
Chuck saves the USA, and then I'm trying to get my channel issues resolved. So, I've got a new disclaimer. So I'm going to try to post a video either tonight or tomorrow of an Indiana Jones 3D print of the the idol that Indy steals. So trying to get the channel back monetized. So
I hear you,
that
man.
was some helping me. But yeah,
Okay.
so and I might not be able to do a Sunday Night Geekery this weekend, but I'll let people know. But
yep, let them know down the road, which is cool.
Yep.
One quick note before I do the show notes, everyone. Today I went to the movie theater to watch the movie Sound of Freedom.
Oh, how was that?
It is it's an important film. You certainly can't call it entertaining or anything like that, but it was brutal and it was brilliant and it was disturbing in the ways it's supposed to be. And I just admire the filmmakers of this who made this so much, and admire the story that they told. It was necessary, and it's an experience. It's like, I got to tell you that it's tough. It's brutal. That's why I didn't bring it down at the beginning of the show. I don't want to bring everybody down or anything, but it is important. And I'm glad I went to see it. This is the kind of thing that needs to be out there, and it's the kind of thing that a lot of Hollywood does not want you to see. And it's the people protesting it. I've got to wonder about them. So just letting you know that it's out there, and it seems to be doing very well. So,
But beat Indiana Jones on the 4th of July.
It beat Indiana Jones. This small film that was made 5 years ago. Look, imagine
it's made 5 years ago. Yeah.
I mean, it took him forever to get this thing out in the theaters, and it's brutal, but it's so good, and it's good and it's just on.
That's Jim Caviezel, right?
Jim Caviezel, right? And yeah, it's a true story. So yeah, it's powerful stuff. So I just wanted to say that if anyone has been considering it, I don't recommend. I never say go see or don't go see anything. I just tell you what I see or what I think. I'm glad I went to see it. It's not like it's entertaining. And he said, Disney had their distribution and didn't do it. This is according to Fanti. It's I can't say it's a roller coaster ride of fun. It's not, but it is very. Knowing what we know that it's a powerful story about what was true, is a feel good component of it. But it's brutal. It's and yet not. It's not hyper violent or anything like that at all. Not gratuitous. But yeah, the media's been really going against it. So I'm glad I went to see it. I never said, like I said, I never say, hey, you need to go see this or you shouldn't go see that. I'm just telling you, I'm glad I did. Did I have air conditioning in my theater, Fiona? Yes, I did. I'll tell you what I also had. When I went to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Diarrhea, and this was at 3:00 in the afternoon, the first showing of an Indiana Jones movie, ostensibly. There were two people in that theater, in a big theater, and it was
two people.
Both of them arrived by my truck, my friend and myself. Today,
so you rented the place out?
Yes. Today, I walk into a theater that's a smaller theater, not an AMC, kind of a mom and pop one I like, by myself, just on a whim. I saw they got a feature I can make at 2:30. I walked in there. I got my big ass popcorn. You can get refills at this one. That's how cool they are.
Nice.
And sit down. When I went to pick my seat, because I thought, yeah, no one's going to be in here. Like, man, it's not full, but there were not a lot of seats left. And I got a seat, and the pack was almost packed. And this is 2:30
in the afternoon.
p.m. in the afternoon on a Monday.
Not a Friday night.
Nope.
Wow.
Somehow, some way, word's getting out there.
Let's see what it did, what it's up to now. Let me check. Box office.
Fiona says, I can't watch movies like this, but we did make a direct donation to the organization for which he works, and we offered to pay for our neighbors' tickets. It's not it's not graphic in its depictions or anything like that at all. If it tells you what tells you what happened, it communicates to you what's happened without showing any graphics, without showing any graphic details whatsoever. I mean, you know what's happening, and it's disturbing, but it never ever is explicit in any way.
Doesn't cross that line where some movies do, just to show you
nothing gratuitous,
the graphic violence or something, just for the thrill of it. Yeah,
nothing gratuitous.
So let's see what Indiana Jones made today. So Indiana Jones on Sunday made $8.5 million. Sound of Freedom made $7.2 million. And it's 22. It's in 2,800 theaters. Indiana Jones is in 4,600 theaters. So it made 1,800. Indiana Jones made $1,800 per theater. Sound of Freedom made $2,800 per theater. I mean, $2,500 per theater. Excuse me. So it's up to $41 million after 6 days, and I guess the budget I'm guessing the budget was pretty low on, relatively
it had to
low.
Be low.
Yeah, and it's not $300 million.
There are no special effects whatsoever. Let me put it to you like that.
Yeah.
None. Nothing requires a special effect in this movie. If that tells you anything.
Yeah, and it's trending up right now too in terms of ticket sales. So, which is very interesting. Yeah.
Word's getting out there, I guess. And when you go at the end of the movie, there's a message by Jim Caviezel. That's where I learned it was 5 years ago when he says that. So I'm so happy that this kind of message is getting out there. And he tells that, again, people are somehow if you can be offended by this movie, there's something wrong with you. It's not political. It's against something that hopefully all sane, decent people are against. The fact that there's more slavery now than when it was legal. And if that doesn't disturb you, and you try to make that political, you've got the problem. That's all I got to say about that. But anyway, it was definitely worth to see it. It was uplifting actually, because it is a true story the way things went in it, and it was different, and it was not graphic or anything like that. So anyway,
well, yeah, there's some movies that you appreciate but you don't want to see again, like
yeah, I can watch it again actually, but
yeah, but there's certain movies where they're so hard hitting that you appreciate the movie, and it's an amazing movie and an amazing experience in terms of what you learn. And but some it's a hard hitting movie. I haven't seen this, but yeah, and Steven, it says the budget was $14.5 million, and Fiona said it's made $41 million so far. So yeah,
all right, well, good. I'm glad it's doing well, and I hope it continues to be seen. And that's the important thing, is it needs to be seen. So on a lighter note, everyone, I will be on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, as always, over there with the great Tom Connors on his Midnight Edge After Dark channel, 6 p.m. Central, hanging out with those great people. And Monday night with Loki and the Comic Book Roundtable, if we're having that, I'll be there at 7. Then, of course, Wednesday night, the Wild Card Wednesday night, I will be here. A few things to talk about, I can tell you that. Excuse me. And of course, that Clubhouse, 9 p.m. Central, with, of course, my wonderful first officer and our great chief engineer. We will be reviewing Tales of Tomorrow and UFO and a Star Trek comic and all kinds of other fun and frolic and frivolity for all. Then there is Friday night, 8:30 p.m. hanging out with the Comic Shop Talk boys, our good friends, reviewing some Ditko, I think still some Ditko Spidey comics with Nicholas and the gang. And then, of course, Saturday night Star Trek, beginning and the next leg in our mission. And we're just going to start with the pilot, Voyager, Star Trek Voyager, Caretaker. We're just going to talk about that. So it won't be, unlike what happened last week, it won't be a long show. It'll be like a shorter show, because the next week we got to start in with 4 episodes a week and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be same Trek time, same Clubby channel, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that's that. If there's a geekery, I'll be there. If not, we'll be there the following week. Yep. But either way, take a look at the geekery. That's the greatest show on Sunday nights.
Thank you.
And thank you all so much for being here with us. Well, Fiona said something about the most of the negative reviews aren't reviewing the actual movie, but addressing the actors and production companies and just going after general right-wing groups that had nothing to do with the film. Exactly. They try to make it a right-wing thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So, thank you all, everybody, and have a marvelous remainder of your week. Or beginning to your week, or, well, you decide. Later, everybody. Clobberin and Trek on.
Clobberin time! Clobberonimo! It's clobbering time! I just love clobbering time!